to Turner. The rainbow is worth 3.
Jonathan Taylor having a monster game.
Joseph Newgarden takes him down to the white line. They battle for the lead at 3.
Richardson on a design run. Touchdown! INDY.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Hi, atop the circle from the DriveHubler.com studios. It is the Fan Morning Show. Kevin, heaven has arrived for you this morning. You've got the collared Masters golf shirt
Yeah, we're
today.
taking a step up.
Yeah, yesterday was just, it was kind of the nice T-shirt and the hat. No hat, complete professionalism, collared shirt, ready to go. It's Masters Day.
Not sure what that lead-in was, Mark Dykton.
You're supposed to be taking him to heaven.
Boy.
I know. You wanted the 1 hour Masters music just in the background.
Generic as hell here on
I
this
know.
random Thursday.
I didn't make these opens.
Unbelievable. Gosh.
You spoil him, Mark.
So we're off and running with KB today. He's just trying to kill time. When's the first golfer actually tee
I
off?
believe
Pretty quickly
7:40, ball in the air. I think
Yeah.
we have the Iron Bowl teeing us off. Little Alabama, Davis Riley, little Auburn, Patton Kazire here to get things started. So, yeah, 7:40. And again, if you are a golf nerd or simply want to consume the Masters at a notable level, you need to download the Masters app, and you need to do that ASAP.
We also had the first 2 of 3 rounds of our Masters draft yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to have to do round 3, I guess, in that 7:30 segment, right? Unless you guys have Davis Riley and Patton Kazire high on your list.
Yeah.
No, I know who's on my list.
After James and little Thomas Dietrich, who knows?
This is true.
Did you record all the names yesterday, Mark?
I've got them down, yes.
Yeah.
I was a stenographer. I wrote it all down.
What a word.
I'm just happy he knows
Mark.
what stenographer means.
No, I didn't mean for him. I just meant like
did you
in
work
general.
at a courthouse
Like,
in a
No.
different time?
No.
Place?
Old school there.
Whatever.
yeah.
I like it.
From Mark Dykton.
So have your thoughts on who may or may not win changed at all in the last 18, 21 hours?
I want the heart wants Rory, and I think the head wants Rory as well, or thinks that he will get it done. It's probably a little bit too Hollywoody from a script, but yeah, I mean, he is in great form, and again, this is the lone major that has escaped him. I don't know if you saw yesterday, a very cute video of his daughter Poppy making a putt in the par 3 challenge. I always enjoy the par 3 challenge. It helps get Maddie Bowen kind of involved in the
Poppy looked a little overwhelmed, though. She wasn't quite sure
very
how to react to
overwhelmed
that.
after the make. Yeah, Shane Lowry's daughter. No surprise, knowing Shane Lowry's outward exuberance, that she was much more comfortable. But I can't wait. I'm giddy. I'm excited, and it honestly makes up for the Pacers taking on the G League Cavs tonight.
Wow, you hope that they're playing the G League Cavs.
They are.
tonight.
Well, have you seen the injury report?
Yeah, everybody, right?
Yeah, and this is a bummer, I think, just late in the season, that if you look at the Pacers' final dozen games or so, Denver on Sunday certainly was one, but there's not a lot of, good on good. Playoff good.
Kind of sharpen yourself
on
up a little
good.
bit for
You
the
don't,
playoffs.
I mean, you had the Thunder, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, but yeah, tonight Cleveland's going to sit a lot of their big guys. They are locked into the 1 seed here in the East. The Pacers still need 1 game, either a win for them or a loss for Milwaukee to clinch home court here. So Pacers, Cavs, reminder, national television, TNT, nothing from Chris, Quinn, and JJ. Quinn gets a night off after smothered chickening up. the
Oh,
other night.
man.
Another spread I'm not touching, by the way.
I loved
tonight.
it.
9.5, did I see the Pacers
No,
favored?
thank you. Nope.
Yeah.
So who is Garland, Mobley, Mitchell, and Strus?
They're all out.
All of them are out.
Yes. And then the Pacers, the only notable one on this list would be Ben Shepherd, who is questionable with a left great toe sprain.
And I'll be curious tomorrow. Again, it's a back-to-back. So the Pacers take on Orlando tomorrow. If for some reason, I don't know why, but the Pacers felt the need to continue to play their guys tomorrow. Orlando is locked into the 7. So, Cleveland again on Sunday, Orlando tomorrow, Cleveland tonight. None of the Pacers' opponents are playing for anything. And it's very different out west. And certainly last
Oh, my
night,
goodness, yeah.
we saw it in Dallas with that was one of the crazier scenes I've seen in sports. And again, I try not to be hyperbolic and prisoner of the moment, but that was wild. Luka's emotions, and then to back it up,
45.
It's one of the more impressive individual performances I've seen. To be that emotional, I think it's a little different than even Peyton here. Peyton here there was some writing on the wall. You had the Andrew Luck element sitting there. There was an age factor. It didn't happen in season. I mean, Luka's in the prime of his career. There is no other Andrew Luck sitting there for the Dallas Mavericks. It is, a guy that clearly was blindsided by it. I don't think everyone was chanting, fire Grigson necessarily in the middle of the 2013 season.
We got plenty of calls on that. I remember that. Ooh.
Yeah, but not to the fire Nico. I mean, the fire Nico chants were the loudest that arena's been all season.
And they were consistent in that first quarter. They just kept coming.
I feel like they're going to keep
going. It didn't stop. I mean, it was loud late in the fourth quarter there.
Yeah.
So. And he was sitting there in the tunnel, too. Did you see that?
I did see that. And having to hear that, I walked in this morning and told Mark and these guys, I would hate to walk into a building of thousands of people and the majority hate me. That is, and it's not an overstatement. It's a fact. A lot of people will hate that man right now in Dallas, and rightfully so after getting rid of a top 5 NBA player, and he's only 25. I mean, I get it. He might not have worked as hard as you want him to, but I love what he kind of pushed back on. I believe I forgot to say his last name, but for the LA Times, Dan Woke. I hope that's his last name? Wokey, something like that. I actually know him, so I just don't know his last name. But he did a piece on Luka, and he had a quote in there where Luka was saying he's really hurt by those comments just because he's like, well, how do you think I got here? I worked my butt off to get here. And honestly, if you look at his journey, it's pretty amazing that he is as good as he is considering his background. He's not an NBA player's son. Came from overseas. He's been
from Slovenia.
Yeah, and he's been playing pro basketball since he's been 14 or 15 years old. So, yes, he's been this prodigy, but he's worked extremely hard. And so, no sympathy for me on that scale at all. So, yeah, Pacers night off. I enjoyed watching that game for sure.
It's been a strange year in the NBA, hasn't it? In a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
just off the court stuff, the Luka stuff, the Mike Malone stuff, and we learned a little bit more about Malone getting fired in Denver yesterday. Apparently, the Kroenkes wanted to do it earlier in the year, and right when they were ready to do it, the Nuggets reeled off 8 in a row. And I think he didn't want them to go on a playoff run. He just didn't want Michael Malone to be his head coach anymore.
I mean,
he felt that it had run its course for whatever reason.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this doesn't work out well for them. He won you your first championship less than 2 years ago. So, I mean, I know everyone's feeling good after beating the Sacramento Kings last night. Whoop-de-doo. It's the Kings. The most, middling team in the NBA. So, I don't know. I'm excited to get to the playoffs because I just feel outside of a few games like that last night and out in the West in particular, you're not really playing for much in the East at this point for a lot of teams. And are you scared about your 50-win bet, KB, at all?
I don't.
Tonight would be a big game.
Yeah, I need 2 or 3. Again, all these opponents are playing for none. Now, if the Pacers win tonight, they very well could be playing for nothing on Friday or Sunday. So, boy, I'm getting into Johnny Furphy versus Georges Niang's former backup. I don't even know who the Cavs have on their roster here. So,
Iowa State legend?
Yeah, certainly a legend. And Tyrese Halliburton's a close friend. I'm sweating a little bit. Tonight is a must. Tonight you got to have it. I mean, you can't. I mean, the Pacers theoretically are playing their guys.
Oh, yeah, they have to. Yeah. I meant the other matchups.
This would be the 49th win, and then, either 50 on Friday, 50 on Sunday. So, yes,
you need 2 or 3 to go.
I am sweating, certainly, on that front.
I like that. No, I like the fact that that's the whole point. The whole point of gambling is to get that feeling, isn't it? There's something going on there, or you just want the money?
I think
Both.
you want the money, right? You don't want to feel you'd rather not have that feeling.
But that's what it gets people addicted is the feeling, is my point.
To be fair, Jeff, I know where you're coming from. I was a little thrown off by I like that you're sweating comment, but I understand the adrenaline rush is probably where
I want you guys to learn that that's not a good thing sometimes. That's all.
I've got Mr. Bowen and Mrs. Bowen to instill those values in me. And at this point, at 35 years old and a hair transplant and 2 kids and a lot of gray hair, I think I could probably
man.
Make those decisions. I've sprinkled Shane Lowry. I've sprinkled Russell Henley.
Yeah.
I've sprinkled, of course, Jordan Spieth in a significant manner. So I'm ready to go.
Just so people know, the great irony of that is I probably put more $10 and $15 bets down every day than all you guys combined.
Well, yeah, you were trying to tell us we'll put 10 down on the
sneaky
Colts Super
degenerate
Bowl, and
is
I'm
Jeff
like,
Rickard.
Hey, look, I have a budget. I never go over the budget. Sometimes it works out.
all
Sometimes
right,
it doesn't.
as long as you got the budget.
That's how it goes, man.
That's how you call that number.
You got to have that. We call it in the business a bankroll. It's not a large bankroll, but if you play within your bankroll, it's all good.
There you go.
Mark, you usually dabble a little bit here. Have you put down a Masters wager outside of our lovely pool?
I did. I just did a little bit ago because I wanted to get. So it's a parlay, so we'll see how that works out. But
Ooh, how'd that work?
well, I don't know. They haven't even thrown a
No,
kitted ball in the air yet.
Did you just put 3 golfers down, and how does that go?
It's okay. So Scotty Scheffler to finish top 5.
Okay.
John Rahm to finish top 10.
There you go.
Hideki Matsuyama to finish top 20, and Dustin Johnson to finish top 40.
I like that actually.
Okay.
I kind of like that parlay. I
Interesting.
didn't quite know what the legs were going to be, but that's what I like.
I'm
Good stuff.
taking a chance. I guess every gamble is a chance, but we'll see what happens. So, I'm like, okay. I saw one of those parlays that are like pre-built. I'm like, I kind of like that
So I
one.
was like, you didn't talk to Justin Johnson personally to say, hey, I got this.
I mean,
do we have a room of
he's
high
top
rollers or
10
what?
as far as like wives.
I was
that's
going to
for
say,
sure.
I think Mark might have gotten into a trap on the Instagram last night with Paulina Gretzky versus thinking Dustin Johnson's in top form.
Yeah, my algorithm is all that.
We are just a bunch of high rollers in this building, aren't we?
Yeah, I must say.
Rolling through right now. All right. I will say this as far as Masters are concerned. It's one of those things I really like to go with the heart, right? And my guy, he's playing better and he's healthy. And I heard him say his goal is to get to be world number 1, Jason Day. How about that?
Certainly has some outfits that are out there. That's an understatement.
But, I mean, he does have game when he's healthy.
Yeah, and has played well here before. The win healthy part is unfortunately kind of derailed his career.
All right, so that gets underway. You said first ball in the air, about 7:40?
7:40, Davis Riley, Patton Kizzire. I think Rory's late this afternoon. Scotty Scheffler a little bit later this morning. I think weather supposed to be pretty good down at Augusta National. So no worries, folks. I'll keep you updated throughout the morning.
All right, we'll tell you more about that. Get you up to date on your Cubs in a moment here, and the Reds as well as we continue on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I got caught in between. Sorry about that.
We need a mulligan on the first tee.
Man, you guys are brutal.
Brought to you by Butler Bulldogs Basketball. 2025-26 season tickets are on sale now. Registration for iconic Hinkle Fieldhouse premium seats runs through May 31st. Don't miss Hinkle Magic. Visit butlersports.com/buy tickets.
The Indiana Pacers' magic number is 1. They will play at home tonight. They got 3 games to go, 2 of them against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kevin Bowen, Cleveland, sitting a bunch of dudes tonight, it looks like.
Yeah, they are locked into the 1 seed. So, yeah, they're sitting a whole lot. Pacers favored by 9.5. No Donovan Mitchell, no Max Strus, no Darius Garland, no Evan Mobley. So, yeah, kind of unfortunate. I've been looking forward to seeing Cleveland a little bit more against the Pacers this season. And if you look at it, assuming Sunday that these 2 teams, when they meet again, will be sitting a whole lot, probably on both sides. You know, you really only get to see Cleveland at full strength twice this year. But you know what? If playoff bracket holds, the Pacers will see them in round 2.
Well, JB, they messed around with an undermanned team the other night and had to come up big late. Just take care of business again tonight. It seems like we always say that.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, if it's a typical Pacers game, they'll come out sleepwalking the first 6 minutes, and then Rick will call that early timeout. We might get some Johnny Furphy minutes or, Quentin Jackson, and then we figure it out after that. So I do expect them to win this game, mainly because the Cavs are just not interested in doing anything to hurt their chances of just staying healthy. So I wouldn't expect, even if I know they're not playing a lot of their top guys, even some of their top rotation guys, they'll probably be like, all right, a couple minutes here and then sit you back down.
Milwaukee Bucks, if they lost, that would count as 1 game, the magic number for the Pacers. They'll be hosting the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. Pelicans on a 4-game losing streak. The Bucks have won 5 in a row, JP.
Yeah, it's been Giannis going nuclear, and he is terrifying when he's playing at this level. I consider him to be a top 2 player in the world alongside Jokic. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Speaking of Jokic, he and the Nuggets defeated the Sacramento Kings on the road 124-116. Their first game after the firing of their head coach, Michael Malone, so they get the win there. Any other games of note besides that one that you can possibly think of, Kevin Bowen, in the NBA last night?
Boy, the Luka scene was quite something. I mean, the pregame emotion certainly spoke for itself. I think there's been times you've seen athletes get emotional during the tribute video. To that extent, to have the home crowd be so venomous towards their own team. I go back to that game, Colts-Broncos, Lucas Oil Stadium in 2013. It's not, once that ball was kicked, that was a raucous environment for the Colts. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like openly cheering for Peyton at every call. Sure, you had a sprinkle of fans that probably were like that. But that crowd, the loudest cheers last night in that arena was for a Luka basket, fire Nico Harrison, and then a Lakers basket, more than anything.
That's
and
crazy.
I can't say enough about Luka. 45, it's a season high. I love that J.J. Redick took the time out there later, had him commit the foul to get the standing ovation with about 90 seconds to go.
And they really did it right, didn't they, the Lakers?
What a scene it was. And again, Luka, one of the more impressive individual performances I think you'll ever see.
Well, did you hear him in the post-game interview? He's like, I don't even know how I got 45, because after I watched that video, I said, there's no way I can play this game.
Yeah.
He was in tears
crazy.
Openly over there on the sideline.
But then, you get reminded that he's a killer. So that's what he did. Went out there and seek, destroy. And I saw some crazy stat from ESPN where he's like the first player since Wilt Chamberlain to score 45 for a team and then against that same team in the same season. So that was pretty remarkable stuff.
The Lakers won 112-97. Masters gets underway within the half hour. Scottie Scheffler, the favorite, at 9-2. Rory McIlroy at 13-2. And Colin Morikawa, you stole him from me in the draft yesterday, Kevin, 14-1.
He's chirped a little bit about the lack of respect from the media here, so I'll be curious to see how he plays. He was in the final group last year. But, yes, things get underway here in less than 20 minutes from Augusta National. I wouldn't expect anything too crazy during our show, but you never know, so we'll keep you updated. And we do need to complete our draft. We have one more round to go here in our Masters draft, so we'll complete that.
I'm looking at this now. You did not steal Colin Morikawa from me. You took Xander Schauffele. He was on the board. You took him over Morikawa.
I was kind of hoping that he would fall till today. That was my point.
Oh, well.
That happens.
Guy's third on the odds. You don't have a bunch of dummies in the studio here. You think 8 picks are going to go by and the guy third on the odds is still going to be there?
Well, it's not like I got chopped liver. I was just I was hopeful. I was hopeful. That's all.
James Boyd's an intelligent draft boarder over there when it comes to.
I mean, I can look at a leaderboard and say who's the favorite.
Rangers over the Cubs 6-2 yesterday, and the Reds' 2-game winning streak comes to a halt. They lost to the San Francisco Giants, who got timely hitting late in the game to send it to extra innings, and then in the 10th inning, 8-6, the San Francisco Giants get
the most politically correct way to say the Reds blew a 5-run lead. Very fitting.
Trying to be nice
from the Reds.
Today. I'm trying to be nice today.
Mike Yastrzemski with the walk-off.
Indians also won 7-3 over Louisville. So there you go.
All right.
Did you guys see how the White Sox lost yesterday?
Again?
I actually didn't see this. Feel free to inform me.
They're down 3-1 in the ninth to the Guardians. Base hit to left field. Score 1 run. Get it to 3-2. The tying run is rounding third. I forget the dude's name. Pulls a hamstring halfway down the third base line.
It's the most White Sox thing ever.
Like, it could not have happened to a more fitting team. Didn't they start the season, like, was it 2-1 maybe? Or I don't even know. It could have been 2-0. And I think they've lost every game since.
Yeah, they started 2-1 and they've lost like 8 or 9 in a row now.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of 6, 7, and 8 game losing streaks.
It was the catcher, like picture Walter Clayton going up to Emmanuel Sharp on Monday night after the game. The catcher just like slowly just like applies the tag to the injured White Sox. I mean, you still have to do that. It's not like you can.
But
just
at least he was gentlemanly about it.
Stand there, but
better than me because I'd have been running over there. My hamstring feels good. You out, brother?
You are cold over here.
It was quite.
Hey man, we're competing.
Are you fronting to be a killer or are you a killer? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
When it comes to competing, no sympathy. I'm sorry. You'll be fine. We have great insurance in Major League Baseball.
You can compete and then be, respectful afterwards too.
Yeah, and the moment I'm going to tag you out like I would tag anybody else out.
Yeah, you tag him, you say, "You okay, man?"
Yeah.
You're out, by the way.
Yeah, right, exactly.
James, go back over to the go. Hey, you might want to go check that guy out. He's
he ain't doing too good, but we got the dub.
All right, coming up in a moment, we will complete the 4-team. No, there's 4 of us in here, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so 4 of our teams with the 3-player draft.
I think we should just have you all just.
Mark just wants to come get me this morning. What's
I
going
don't know.
on
I
over
think
there?
you all should just have.
We had a nice conversation when I got here this morning. You're in a good mood.
I don't know.
I literally woke up at like 5:50. My alarm did not go off, and my neighbor's car woke me up, and I looked at the clock. I was like, "Oh, blank! I got to get up and get out of here."
So you
took like a 5-minute shower.
That's why you didn't get your heavenly music this morning.
Yeah,
KB.
Usually Mark's on those things, so I knew there was
it's
something.
coming. We have the last round coming, so
Okay.
that's on its way. Don't worry, you'll get it.
We'll do that next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I see what you did there, Mark. Yep. What can I pull together and throw the liner over and call it golf? That's good right there. I like that.
Hey, if we're doing a Masters draft, we got to have some music. I did the Happy Gilmore one yesterday. We're doing Caddyshack.
Good job out of you.
Not Caddyshack 2. That one doesn't exist.
Will that satiate you? That open right there, Kevin?
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. I don't know if you fully made up for the lack of an open there to start things off at 7 o'clock.
Is that better for you?
You hear KB's voice just
it's
like
amazing how my
down.
heartbeat just got to a resting position. Perspiration gone.
Everything's okay now? The world is right?
And hoping for a hello, friends, as maybe we started this final round of our draft here.
This dude is.
Mark, you want to update us on where we're at here?
Okay, so
2 rounds?
This is a 3-round Masters draft. We've done 2 of 3. James learned his lesson from the NFL Colts quarterback draft and stuck with first. He took Scotty Scheffler. I took Rory McIlroy. Jeff took Xander Schauffele. Kevin took Colin Morikawa. Back to Kevin. He went Justin Thomas. Jeff went Ludwig Aberg. I took John Rahm. And then James took Thomas Dietrich, Illinois alum. That's where we're at. So we have 1 more to go, 1 golfer each, and it's back up to James for this final round.
Bryson DeChambeau? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin and I just both went, oh!
Is there another Illinois golfer in the field that you thought
gonna
about
say.
there? I know
actually,
Steve Stricker back in the day.
I'll be honest, I had no idea who Bryson was until the YouTube chat told me yesterday before the show, and hey, take this guy. And I was like, all right, I'll listen to you guys.
He's also Kevin's most hated player.
I can't stand him.
Oh, that's even more reason why I want him then. Yeah, I want him on my team. Yes, let's up the
Kevin
hate.
hates him.
Hope he shoots 92 today.
Is it because he's a live guy or something like that?
Yeah, I just think he's phony. I think he's fake.
Well, fake it all the way to victory, brother.
So that means
had no idea who Bryson DeChambeau was until yesterday.
I'm not joking. Well, I'm not very proud of that, but it's honest.
All right, who's up next?
It's a good pick, though.
That would be me. I'm going to go Shane Lowry.
Ooh, Mark, I like it. Man, you got Lowry and Rory. You got 2 of the Irishman boys there. You got a full European squad here.
I know who's in your back pocket. I could have been a jerk and taken him. But
I thought about that too, but I'm not that much of a jerk.
Yeah. Well, let's see if Jeff's a jerk. Jeff, go ahead.
I'm just going to take the guy that I want to win. Okay. I don't know if he's going to, but I'm going to take the guy that, with my 3rd pick, that I want to win. That's going to be Jason Day.
Okay.
I thought you might go Mickelson.
No, that's never going to happen.
Kevin might leave the room.
That's not one of my favorite guys.
Thought about the Boilermaker, Adam Shank. Shout out to Vincennes Finest, the sod farm down there, the great Adam Shank. Thought about him for my 3rd and final pick, but indeed I will go with Jordan Spieth. So I'm more in the I don't know, young-ish Americans, but I got a three American squad here.
Thought about Hideki Matsuyama, but he'll be on the leaderboard for 4 days and then finish 4 strokes back, right? That's how that works.
Well, that's pretty good if you're trying if you're trying to assemble a team that's creating the lowest score. We're not going for the winner here. We're going for the lowest score.
I understand that.
Hideki, I think it would be a safe pick.
I just like root for Jason Day, so that's where I went.
And I'd say that Shank is
it's one of the 2.
It could be a very good last name in golf or a very bad one, but I'm glad that this particular Shank is a good golf player.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that he has made it to the PGA Tour with that last name, but good dude, big Colts fan.
I see why you like this hour-long Masters theme, because it's just like gliding shots of the entire Augusta property. That's all it is.
No, I'm looking
going through the
shots,
woods and all this
stuff.
literally,
the next time you can't sleep, Mark, if your neighbor's car's waking you up again, just dial that up, man.
I might have to.
Sound machines are broken in the house for some reason. Masters YouTube channel. Fire that up.
We have one piece of business to take care of. What's the winner game?
I know.
Mark, you think about these things quite a bit. What are you thinking?
Well, I don't know. What we did?
You did road snacks.
We did road snacks last time for the backup quarterback draft. I'm trying to think. I was trying to think of a Masters tie-in somehow, and no one outside of me and Kevin, I don't think likes pimento cheese.
Delicious, by the way, from Cluster Truck earlier this week. I would highly encourage you to check that out.
I've never had pimento cheese.
This is Kevin's baby. I don't know if Kevin has something in mind.
I know. I was trying to think about that. Selfishly, I wouldn't mind getting my stab at the road snacks that I was wanting.
We could do that again.
I know that Mark obviously got his fair share of it. Let's simmer on it a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we'll come back to it.
Before the end of the show, we need to have it done.
Well, certainly. We do.
Yeah, before the end of the show. So they'll tee off coming up in about 12 minutes here. They'll get underway. And any great just grab you by the neck storylines you're looking at, KB?
Well, I mean, you got to start with Scheffler and Rory, certainly. I mean, Scheffler going for 3 Masters wins in 4 years. That rather unprecedented. Did you guys see the Scotty Scheffler moment on the first tee yesterday? Of Jeff, you could certainly relate back in the day. Mark, you could relate right now, and I as well. His son Bennett started to fuss on the first tee, and Scotty just throws his ball on the ground. He's like, just a second, let me hit the shot, buddy. I'll be right there. And then when we could stop relating is where he hit the shot then to 3 feet.
Yeah.
That's
then you're
probably
like,
where
okay.
It kind of
Mine would have gone in the woods. There would have been an expletive. I'm like, all right, what do you want now?
Yes,
What happened?
Exactly. So, like, again, a
What's the
pre-shot, I think we could relate for the most part. You know, him drinking the bourbon on Tuesday night at the Champions Dinner, we could probably relate as well. But as soon as that golf ball went in the air, that's where the relating stops to Scotty Scheffler. But, yeah, I would say Scheffler and Rory. And I know I've said this all week long, but I do think the live element creates a little bit of a drama or an unknown. What is Bryson DeChambeau? Who is John Rahm right now? You know, Patrick Reed and Sergio Garcia are 2 former champions. Phil Mickelson's had great form on the Live Tour this year. Is that real or is that not? So I do think a little bit to the casual sports fan. I don't know how much Jim Nantz will take us down that road if indeed the leaderboard calls for that, but I do think that is just kind of a different storyline from that.
John Rahm, it's interesting. I saw an interview with him yesterday, and he was saying that he struggled in the majors last year. We all know that. He said, but outside of those majors, he played really good. He played really good golf, and so he feels pretty good about his game coming into the Masters, and really wants to get something
good live
done.
golf. So again, that's where it gets into the debate of like how real is it?
I mean, there are some good players over there,
right? But when he came on the PGA Tour, he didn't play well.
Yeah.
You know, as he said. Now,
I wonder how much of that was in his head though, coming back and these live players coming back and like, am I welcome here? Do they even want me?
Nobody picked Brooks Koepka.
Oh,
that was close. If it wouldn't have been Jason Day, Brooks would have been right there. It was him or Hideki. Those were the 3 I was.
Seems like a regrettable one.
So David is chiming in on the YouTube chat. He said, if you want a Masters theme, why not the winner choose a meal that everyone must buy so you can mirror the winner's dinner?
Oh, I like this.
That's
I
thinking
like that
right there.
a lot.
Yeah.
David
That's
is a smart
right there.
individual. Okay. If you guys are good with it,
I'm good with that.
Sure.
That is terrific.
It all comes down to food here, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, we're morning show
We are a
people.
sports radio
Yeah.
station.
It's all good. I'm not saying
We're
that's
not
bad.
all JMV eating cottage cheese is his only thing in his diet here.
Ugh, yuck.
When's the last time you had cottage cheese?
I ain't never had it. I mean, when I worked at an assisted living home was the last time that I saw it. And I was like, you people eat this, like, willingly?
I'm guessing serving cottage cheese at assisted living will kill that for you for the rest of your life, I would think.
Yeah, that and, you know, the other things that go down in assisted living homes. Great people, but some of the dieting, I was like, whoa, this is not from my era at all.
Cottage cheese is one of the more disgusting looking food items, just like I think aesthetically.
Yeah. Like, I'm supposed to eat this?
Yeah, I know.
Looks like I should throw this out.
A reminder
That
tonight.
will not be on anybody's dinner.
While I will be certainly consuming a lot of Masters. Pacers, Cavs, that's national TV. So for those that
TNT, right?
have not subscribed or gotten the FanDuel Sports Network, whatever it's called, you can watch the Pacers as long as you get TNT. And when the TNT games happen, that means Chris, Quinn, and JJ do not happen. So night off for them. Boy, TNT's got to love this. Nothing says national TV. Hey, let's give the Cavs and the Pacers a bone. Oh, wait, Cleveland's sitting everybody. So much for that. So.
In fairness, though, I mean, they took care of business the entire season, unlike the Pacers, who kind of woke up, you know, after the first 25 games.
Right.
So what do you want to see happen tonight, JB? How do the Pacers approach this? Because they've had problems with these, you know, with Washington the other night. I always use the term playing with their food, but it almost came back to bite them.
Yeah, I keep saying that, but then they've also won a bunch of games in a row, haven't really lost at home since the LeBron tip-in. So, I mean, outside of barring something crazy, they'll win. It's fine. I think a lot of times we're just kind of ready for the next stage of the season, whereas they have to be professionals and get it done. So I expect to win. I do want to take the Pacers, Mark, but I won't because I'm listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I don't expect it to be some, you know, like complete dub from the Pacers. They'll be fine. Get in, play your guys, you know, get up by a lot, and then get some rest.
Yeah, it's going to come your way live here on The Fan, beginning at 6:30, and then the play-by-play with Mark Boyle will start right at tip-off, just after 7 o'clock, and you can hear it as you can hear every game right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Speaking of that building the other day, I came across something, I'd missed it. It came really through about a week and a half ago, and maybe you guys talked about it when I was gone with my mom. I'm not sure, but did you see that the Fever and Sky will get 2 nationally televised Saturday night games on CBS this year? When they play twice, they're going to play, and they're going to do it in primetime on CBS on Saturday nights.
It's opening day, right? Or opening it is. I thought the first game was an afternoon game, maybe. Opening day with the Fever and the Sky, I believe.
Yeah.
I thought
that's
that was
one. I don't think that's one of them. I think these are later on in the season.
Later on the year.
Well,
I mean, 41 of what? 44, right?
Yeah.
For the Fever on national TV. So, no surprise there. I would say that makes a whole lot of sense there. I know the WNBA is still in a little bit of a mode of it's a lot of different places you have to go to watch all the Fever games. I think it's like 6 or 7 channels. So I'll be curious when the new CBA is announced here, seemingly in the next 12 months, what exactly their TV package looks like. Like they still have a few games on Ion or, NBA TV, but
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. But yeah, I mean, the Fever are going to be all over your national schedule.
I'm looking at it now. There's a lot of channels.
It's a little
CBS Sports Network, ESPN3 a couple times.
I mean, it's a little bit like how Indiana and Purdue fans have to watch their team if they want to watch them.
Good point. You just made
every game throughout the season, which I assume that'll change a whole lot here when, again, the new CBA comes out.
I saw speaking of TV and sports, I saw something where Major League Baseball is thinking about offering their MLB.TV package where you could watch any game anywhere for $149, but they haven't quite worked out how that would work with regional telecasts.
No blackouts?
And things like that. It would be the online portion, like MLB.TV. And again, it's not
local blackouts
there. They weren't sure. They said this is something that they were proposing, but they weren't sure how they would work that out with the local teams. I'm sure if you're FanDuel and you've paid a bunch of money to run the Reds games, you don't want to have somebody buy an MLB.TV package and just walk all over your rights, right? So I don't know. They just said they had a lot of things to work out, but that was something they were thinking about. But if they did that, it would be $149 for the whole season.
Did you guys think of any scene like last night? Prior player going back to his old home. Again, Peyton is the one that resonates with me just because obviously it happened in our own backyard. But the Luka scene last night to me checked even more boxes and different boxes than Peyton coming. Peyton was emotional. I wouldn't say Peyton was maybe as emotional as Luka.
But the departure was so different.
Well, yeah, and the crowd wasn't venomous. I mean, last night's crowd was hostile.
Oh, they wanted their pound of flesh.
Towards Nico Harrison, towards, I would say, the Mavericks in general. And Lucas Oil Stadium on that Sunday night, in October 2013, certainly they acknowledged Peyton majorly pregame. But when Robert Mathis sacked Peyton in the end zone, it led to a safety. That place was rocking for the Colts.
I think when Derrick Rose got traded to the Knicks, a
That's
lot of Bulls fans were hurt about that. But even then, it was more split than this because a lot of Bulls fans were like, oh, he gets hurt all the time, doesn't want to play. And that was part of the narrative. Maybe not the majority, but there was a good portion that were kind of fed up with him and the injuries. And I think now there's been this redemptive and kind of revisionist history. Like, no, you guys hated this guy for a while. Like a good portion of the city did not like Derrick Rose because of the injuries, but I've never seen anything like that. I mean, the only other memorable really return I can think of to that scale was when LeBron went back to Cleveland for the first time. But obviously that was just all hate and venom. And, me being the way I am, I love that. I mean, I was all in on the Bulls back then. So I was praying on his downfall no matter where he was, and it didn't work.
Well, the other thing that was interesting last night is that the team brings him back, right? They traded him, and they have this beautiful tribute video to him right before the game. It causes him to really, I wouldn't say break down, but he's got tears in his eyes, clearly. He's wiping them away. Then he goes out and he just destroys the game with 45 points. And during the entire game, as you pointed out, you want to talk about the venom, the home crowd repeatedly, loudly, and for extended periods of time is chanting, "Fire Nico." Nico Harrison, the guy that traded him. I just don't remember a guy getting traded in the middle of the season when he is, no question, the franchise guy just coming into the prime of his career.
Yeah, I'm kind of always curious, and this is a pretty introspective thing, and I don't know if Luka will ever – I don't know if he'll be able to kind of fully tell it. You know, he certainly had some words with Lisa Salters there post-game about it on the floor. But I found myself in awe at what Luka was doing throughout that game. Like, it's one thing to have the emotion pregame, of course. You know, again, a lot of guys are emotional in those types of returns. So, you know, that element is one side of it. But then to come out and have that game, I mean, that was a season high. We're at game 80 of the season. And that 45 points for Luka. I mean, Peyton threw for a bunch of yards in that game here in 2013, but, you know, also was sacked a lot, and I think he threw a pick, and, like, it wasn't, you know, perfect. I mean, Luka had a flawless game last night. That and one late with the left hand, or I don't know if it's and one, but he threw that in with the left hand late. I mean, it was just it's a regular season performance I think I'll remember for a long, long time. The scene itself, certainly, but then for Luka to kind of back it up and literally without – I mean, if he would have walked off the floor and saw Nico Harrison and went double birds, his play on the floor backed it up last night. That's pretty much what he did to him. And he reminded 18,000 in that building, that entire organization, you made an absolutely stupid mistake in trading me. And I think a lot of guys would love that moment and think about it. And, you know, hell, it was a back-to-back for the Mavericks. And Luka's sleeping in his own bed in Dallas last night, probably thinking, man, you imagine if I have a great game.
He said afterwards, now I can sleep, because he said he didn't
tomorrow
sleep.
Night.
He didn't sleep before that game.
And he does it. I mean, that is the dream almost coming to a reality, I would think, for him.
I wish he was as honest as Anthony Edwards, because he would have gave us some theater after that. At that time of performance, oh, my goodness.
Hugs for Mahomes, hugs for his father, hugs for a lot
of Mahomes with
the
a haircut?
People. Yeah,
I was like, man.
I almost didn't recognize him.
I was like, whoa, this is a new man, a new version, a new variant of the best quarterback in the game. My goodness.
It's not even that he got the beautiful tribute and they were chanting Fire Nico the entire time. It's the fact that that home crowd for Dallas was openly rooting for him and the Lakers against their team last night.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers are going to get love everywhere, but on top of that, yes, you've made it very obvious that you made the wrong decision. And, I mean, I fully expect Nico Harrison to regret this and to probably be out of a job someday because of this.
He will always be the guy. Like, unless they somehow win a championship in the next 6 to 8 years, he'll always be the guy that traded a bona fide superstar in the prime of his career.
I really do think
for an older, broken down guy.
I really do think that the owner probably just told him to do this.
It's possible.
Because I'm just thinking to myself, there's no way. I know that what they tell us is what they have to say as the company lines, as the GM, you own everything. But I'm like, there is no way. There's no way you thought this was a good basketball decision. Because even though Anthony Davis is great, Kyrie Irving is great, neither one has been the best player on the championship team, and they're both plus 30.
Here's the best part about that theory, though, which may be true. But if it is, the owner continues to just let Nico hang out there and take all the
pay you a lot of money.
Arrows.
Take all this hate for me. But, I mean, the owner's comments haven't been great. What's his name? Patrick Dermott or something like that?
The governor?
Yeah.
How about Cuban making a little appearance on the floor afterwards?
Yeah, he basically saying, it ain't me. I didn't do this.
He may have gotten more popular in Dallas.
Yeah, Patrick Dermott. I've seen some quotes from him, and it's just like, why? Why would you do this? And so it makes you thankful for, I think sometimes with some of these newer owners or governors, as they call them now, they get impatient. So it makes you thankful for the owners that are kind of from the old guard. Obviously, the Pacers have Herb Simon, and he was able to change his stripes a little bit with the Tyrese Halliburton trade and the Siakam trade, but to not be as, I guess, just volatile when it comes to landing a player like Luka, who, again, is one of the greatest players ever already. Like, that's how crazy that is. So,
isn't the actual owner, though, like the wife of that casino magnate out in Las Vegas?
I am not sure about that. All I know is that Patrick Dermott is,
he runs the show.
He's like the decision maker when it comes to the basketball side of things.
He runs the show. But it makes you thankful, to your point too, JB. What a great situation here in Indiana when you think about the fact that this is not a free agent destination, that you're always going to have to build your roster from within and through trades and shrewd decision-making in the offseason. Kevin Pritchard consistently comes up with a team that's worth watching, and in the last couple of years, right there in the mix.
I just couldn't believe it. Come back, score 45 on you, get the dub, secure a playoff spot, no less, for my new team, and send you into whatever you guys are going through. I think they're like still in the play-in type of thing right now. And the other layer of this, KB, is that we kind of forget Anthony Davis was involved in this trade, and like no one cares.
Right.
And he's a Hall of Famer.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, but the best years of his career are way behind him, though. That's the
I wouldn't
thought.
say that. I wouldn't say that.
Do you think how healthy do you think he's going to be the rest of his career?
I mean, up until this past year, or this most recent year, he had been healthy. So, I don't know. I still think he's a top 10 player in the world when he's healthy. Now, the great point you made, can he stay healthy? But I don't think the best basketball in the world is way behind him. He's still a really good player, and we'll just have to see how it turns out.
Anyway, NBA comes to your city tonight again as the Pacers be hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers, who don't seem to be playing a lot of their guys. Magic number to secure the fourth playoff spot in the East and thereby home court advantage in that first round. Just one. So any combination of a Pacers win and a Bucks loss over their next 3 games each gets them that home court advantage. And again, we'll have the game for you right here on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan, the Masters, underway now, Kevin. You should be as happy as you can possibly be.
I am giddy. 8 o'clock hour upcoming for us. I know we want to get a little bit into a Colts conversation. Bruce Arians had some words about Anthony Richardson earlier this week. We'll touch on that, what we make of certainly a very decorated quarterback coach and a very colorful coach when it comes to Bruce Arians' comments. He typically does not hold back, and I would say he did not when it came to Anthony Richardson. We'll hit on that as well.
Alex Golden comes your way at 9 o'clock. Also in the 9 o'clock hour, Pro Football Network's David Behrman to talk draft. So a lot.
2 weeks from tonight.
It's hard to believe. A lot going on here on the morning show here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Anybody's headphone walk-up music for their first tee, you think?
I think this is Mike Weir's walk-up, right? Mike Weir, 802, the defending champ, the Canadian, the little lefty.
Not the defending champ, but a former champ.
No,
right?
former champ. Sorry if I said defending champ. Patton Kazire is bogey the first hole. Davis Riley, your early leader at Augusta National, even through one. How about that? We get Alabama-Auburn in the first group.
Thinking.
So I just wonder, if you're like the first to tee off and you're in the lead, do you just tell your family, hey, screenshot that?
1,000%.
Okay.
What you are framing that? You might move the wedding picture aside. That might go
leaderboard.
over.
Yeah.
That might be on the
I
mantle.
was like, do you stay married after that?
A little bit more. Certainly.
Oh, man. Yeah. So right now, couple of what do we have? About 6 guys on the course right now? 6 guys at this point in time?
I mean, I would imagine that a few of them have gotten out there at this point.
All right. So we'll keep you up to date on how things are going at the Masters. They have started round 1 here in 2025. Kevin,
that place
as far
is
as
beautiful.
Yeah, you had
like
mentioned.
I'm watching these YouTube videos. This place is
he's
amazing.
Enchanted. He's got it now.
Yeah.
You're into
And
it.
you're not just talking about the media center, correct?
Nah, like just the actual course itself. I wouldn't want to walk on this. It looks like it's too pristine to touch.
It's also very hilly. You go there, you can get a workout.
Yeah, they
walking
definitely
up
said
and
that you
down.
get the steps
workout,
in.
yeah.
I saw a story the other day about like the Masters Marathon, like how much you actually walk if you play the tournament, and it's pretty amazing stuff.
Which is bad news for Tiger moving forward too, right? I mean, it's always been, with all the injuries and surgeries he's had, the biggest obstacle besides his more advanced age now. It's just tough for him to get around.
KD
courses,
Give him the
down.
cart
much less that
exemption.
one.
Unbelievable.
Cart exemption.
Just a straight kick in the you-know-what here.
I don't think he'd want the cart exemption, would he?
He needs to take it. I don't care if he wants it.
Man.
At some point, you get to an age where
Right.
you just need to take
Mark
this.
is looking out
He
for
would
him, like,
shoot you that look, that Tiger, what are you talking about look.
And
Like,
then-
you know how many sponsorships you can put on this cart? And they're like, oh, yeah,
It's
okay.
a NASCAR cart, right?
That is true.
Him and Daly could have the cart together.
You know what, Mark? He is a savvy businessman. I must say that, because you give Tiger a cart, yeah, that would certainly sell.
Put his logo on there, and John Daly can have like Marlboro or Jack Daniels on his, and you're good to go.
Who is it JMV used to get put a JMV logo on the inside of his fender that nobody could see? Out at
That was
the
a thing?
Indy 500. No, JMV had somebody on the. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Ed Carpenter?
I think it was Ed Carpenter. Yeah.
Wow.
And so he was. JV was always like. JMV was always like, how can I get on the car there? How can I get? So I think they put him inside the fender where you couldn't really see it.
That's
one
funny.
year.
Oh my gosh.
Something along those lines. If JMV's listening, you can call and clear that up for me. You were talking about Colts, KB, a few minutes ago, and Bruce Arians was on a podcast the other day. Was it a Colts?
Yes.
One of the Colts podcasts?
Yeah. Him and Jeffrey Gorman. It sounds
Yeah.
like they're going to do like a little bit of a historical, dive in some great Colts. So the always colorful and certainly well accomplished Bruce Arians had some comments.
Anthony, I think, needed 2 more years of college. As a passer, not as an athlete. He's a great athlete, but as a passer, I didn't see him coming out being able to beat anybody in 2-minute third down, and that's where you win in the NFL. If you can't win third down in 2 minutes, you're just an average guy. And I don't care how good you run, you don't run the ball in 2 minutes. As a quarterback, you throw it, and you command the game. I think his growth this year is going to be huge if he can't make it the growth that I think he can make, and I think he's going to put the work in. He's got a great reputation as a hard worker. So Daniel pushing. Daniel's going to really push.
JB?
He should have played 2 more years of college is what a lot of people said about Anthony coming out, but the gamble was that, hey, he's got all this upside. We can work with him. We can build with him, and we should be okay. But I think he's made a good point about just the lack of reps coming in. I guess I can push back a little. He had some moments last year in 2 minute, obviously, winning the game in New York against the Jets, which is actually New Jersey, because I'll leave it there because they're frauds. But
You're not wrong.
It annoys me that
You're not
the
wrong.
New York Giants, they play in New Jersey. Only team that plays in New York for real is the Buffalo Bills. But anyways, and then obviously New England, that last drive as well. So he's shown some mental strength there, but overall, it's hard to argue against Bruce Arians' point because AR has struggled so much through his first 2 seasons.
Yeah, I would. I think I'm kind of split on those Bruce Arians comments. Obviously, the fact that he needed to be in college for a couple more years. Certainly, that is true. And I think if you look at rookie quarterbacks that have had success lately, look at how many games they played in college. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, C.J. Stroud. I mean, it's astronomical how many games they played compared to a guy like Anthony Richardson. But to kind of build off James's point, I actually think, weirdly, Richardson has been at his best in the 2-minute. And he hasn't been that bad on third down, really. And honestly, I think that's the maddening part to it. Because that is usually where you see quarterbacks, that usually is a separator from you're just a guy or you're really good.
Yeah.
2-minute and third down. And if you look at it, the Jets game, as James points out, the Patriots game, remember all those fourth downs Richardson helped convert in those moments? The Jets game, he did a lot of that with his arm. I think we kind of forget that. It wasn't so much with his legs. So, I'll continue to beat this point home of you need him to do boring better. Like, he when the game has been on the line,
gimmies. Just take the gimme.
He's shown some poise. It's more of, hey, 12 minutes to go in the second quarter of a Week 3 game. To use the baseball analogy, can you just walk a few times and put more balls in play and not have the backward strikeout where either you're throwing incompletions or, and last year we saw the turnover number really, really rise. So, oddly, like if you look at it, I mean, 1st and 10, he's a bad quarterback. 3rd and 10, he's actually a pretty good quarterback.
It's almost like he's better when the game is just like streamlined, where you're like you don't have a lot of options.
You a little bit more backyard.
Yeah, it's a little bit more backyard, but also just a little bit more like see this, do this, versus having the whole thing right in front of you and having all these options. When it's go time and it's 2 minutes, it's very obvious. We got to move the ball. We got to play with tempo. It's almost like his brain just operates at a higher level, and he's able to play at a faster pace because he's not thinking so much about every single option. So there's a balance to that too, because you can't go fast every time, Jeff. You want to use some of the clock to your advantage. But I think if he does start this year, and I do think he's a good opportunity to play, we'll see if they continue some of that upbeat stuff.
Yeah, and I think that everything Chris Ballard has done is to try to get him to be a guy that lives up to being the 4th overall pick. I do believe they can talk all they want about open competition, but I think it was designed to spur him on, to push him just a little bit. And I think I'm hopeful that having an entire offseason healthy, where every single day he can work on his craft physically, it's got to help him, JB. It's going to have to help him.
We'll see. I mean, this is a make-or-break season for him, in my opinion.
Or else is probably what, you would throw in
Absolutely.
there. Absolutely. And I would just continue to say this. If you were some, diehard football fan that you went to, the Aaron Rodgers retreat for 3 years and didn't pay attention to football, and you popped up a week ago, and I said, hey, there's this quarterback named Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Let me show you his YouTube highlights. I mean, it'd be a jaw-dropping a bit in what you were able to show him from a highlight reel. It's just find easy better. Be more methodical, a little steadier, consistent, boring. To use the golf analogy, just hit some fairways with a 280-yard drive. Not everything's got to be, Rory over the trees or Bryson over the trees. Sometimes if you just get the 3-wood in play, that is going to keep you in a round and hit to the middle of the green. Don't have to attack every pin if you want to continue to go down that path. So I think the Arians' point on, the collegiate experience is certainly spot on, but weirdly with Richardson, he's actually been pretty good in the 2-minute, and the third down hasn't been as alarming. It's just that ho-hum nature of a football game of 1st and 10 where he's got to get better.
Yeah,
and I'm not asking him to say 1st and 10 doesn't need to be 80 yards to Alec Pierce over the top.
Nah.
It can be, 6 yards to Colston Loveland and make it 2nd and 4.
Boring and efficient's okay, JB. It can be okay for a while. Just take your 5 on 1st down. Just get 5-6 yards. Take that little shot on the slant. Go for it right there.
Yeah, you look at all the great quarterbacks in the league, even the ones who are super crazy athletes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Those guys still make the layups. And that's what Anthony has struggled with and what he'll have to get a lot better at going into year 3. So we'll get a chance to see them, I believe, on April 22nd right before the draft, kicks off, and hopefully we get a chance to catch up with Anthony, just get his thoughts on everything. That'll be the number one media request that day, I'm sure. Sorry to anybody else who might be out there doing some things. We want to hear from, I was going to say QB1, but QB1 question mark, and it's kind of how it is right now. So I'm curious to just hear his thoughts on everything, what he's worked on, how it looks out there with him and Daniel Jones, and that dynamic of them being teammates, because it is not going away. This is a reality for him, and he has to step up or else, as KB kind of alluded to.
Well, looking forward to see how it all plays out. As the Colts, would you say 22nd is when guys start coming back?
Yeah, I believe they can start their offseason program the 21st, and then the 22nd is when the media will get out there to have a chance to see them and talk to them.
And just to reiterate to our audience that might not be familiar with how the spring schedule will go, it's a progression period up to the 11-on-11 practices. I know James knows this full well, but just for people that don't get how the spring works, it's an 8-9 week offseason program. The Colts will begin their actual 11-on-11s. You'll hear the acronym OTAs. They will begin that May 28th is the first one. So that will be the first time that you will get a Richardson Jones on the field 11-on-11. And James, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we watched 2 of those 6 OTAs. I think we watch 1 a week, right?
I believe so, yep.
So over a 2-week period, they'll have 6 of those sessions. I want to say we watched the first and the last. I think of that. So it's not quite like training camp. Training camp, once training camp starts,
we're out there every day.
Every we see every single rep. The spring, you don't get that. We do get to watch the full mini camp, which is the last week of the spring offseason program in mid-June.
They do that at the facility or out at Westfield?
Yep, everything over there at West 56th Street. So no fans are watching the spring, but we are able to go out there. So we won't have a great picture. You don't have to just go off the Colts' word on exactly how those reps
I was going to make that point.
Have been split. I mean,
it's good context you're adding, though, because there's been times where, like, you walk out there and say Daniel Jones is taking the first team reps. It's like, oh, has he has a leg up? They'll be like, no. Like, a couple days ago, AR was the number one guy. Like, just trust us. And they have no reason to really lie about it, but it's just some of the parameters that we're working with. So it is always good to get people on the record of, like, what has been the setup. That way we're not seeing, one version one day, and it's like this is the end-all, be-all of the QB race.
Now, because brand new head coaches get some extra time in the spring, did I read this right, Mark? The Bears are already doing some stuff with Ben Johnson this week?
Well, yeah, because with a new head coach, you are allowed to report. So they had Caleb Williams, a lot of
2 weeks early. With
so it wasn't just them. It was, I think, the
Jets
Patriots were out there. Yeah, all those teams could report. But yeah, I think
your Bears were cheating, Mark Dykton.
It was optional, but I think obviously a new head coach and a lot of veterans made their way out, and which was good to see.
Let's be honest, you were looking forward to that, just like Kevin was looking forward to the Masters.
I mean, I'm glad to see those guys. I saw Caleb Williams is at the podium. Oh, here's so and so. I'm like, oh, that's good that they're all there because new regime. You want to win? Get out there, meet the new head coach, meet the new coaching staff. It's
this
not
is
just
voluntary,
Ben Johnson.
I believe. Like, you don't have to go to this. I think Jalen Johnson
don't have to, but
like, it's obviously a good look to go.
I mean, the Colts, Kenny Moore sat out a little bit there. The Colts have very rarely had guys sit out, even contractually. Sometimes you do, or whatever. You got a wedding, or God forbid a funeral, something like that. Obviously,
I was just saying you didn't get the Aaron Rodgers treatment where he's over in Egypt or something and not reporting for things that might be important.
You guys see Vegas has come out with some draft over-unders again 2 weeks from tonight.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Hit me.
Shedeur Sanders, the over-under on the draft position he will be selected is what?
Ooh, this is a good one. I'm going to go.
I think I saw he's visiting the Steelers today.
I'm going to go 7.5.
I was going to say 8.5, right around there.
It might be higher than that. Well, higher than the number.
Our degenerate Mark, I'm looking at him. He's pondering deeply.
I will price this right this, and I'll say
thinking about this
6.5.
like Bryson in the middle of the fairway doing his science project out there.
6.5.
9 for Shedeur Sanders. How about Tyler Warren?
Oh, I'm going to go 11.
Again, the Colts pick 14, just to remind everybody.
11.5.
11.5 for Warren. Anybody else?
I'm going to go 9.5 for him.
Okay.
13.5.
Our resident degenerate, Jeff Rickard here, who said earlier in the show that he places more bets than all of us combined. He just kind of snuck that in there, and all of a sudden that answer makes me think he's right. Tyler Warren, 9.5.
Wow.
For what it's worth, the Saints have the 9th pick. I think some people have projected him to the Jets at 7. Your Bears, Mark, have the 10th
Yes,
pick.
They do. Tyler Warren to the Bears is starting to make the rounds, and I personally don't get it because
done with Cole Kmet.
I was going to say, Cole Kmet's over now?
No, he signed a 4-year extension just like last season. So, I mean, they might try to dual threat this thing. I don't know, but there's also been ties to like Ashton Genty has been the other one. So, I don't know. The Bears, I don't know what they're going to do. There's been talk they can move up to get Abdul Carter and everything. So, I don't really know what the Bears are doing at 10, but it seems like there's a lot of speculation they could be taking an offensive player.
So, if you believe Vegas, the Colts will have to trade up to get Tyler Warren.
Yeah, but that's what it's felt like, yeah.
If you look at that, I know there have been some mocks where he has fallen to 14, but right now Vegas here, 2 weeks out, that's what they've slotted in there. Again, round 1 from Green Bay coming up 2 weeks from tonight, 14th overall pick for the Colts. They have all 7 of their picks. So right now, going into the draft, right in the middle of all those rounds.
And JB, that's why I brought that up to you the other day. I still feel like maybe Colston Loveland is the guy that's going to be sitting there for the Colts at 14, and do they want to go there? Are they all in on Warren? Would they take Colston Loveland, or they just go a different direction at that point?
Great question. I mean, I think he's good enough to be picked at 14 based off what I've read and who I've talked to. And again, this isn't like Colts people I've talked to. I mean, just draft analysts, and Dane Brugler is really high on Colston Loveland and what he could be. He's also, I believe, 2 years younger than Tyler Warren. So if you care about the upside factor, there's probably more there with him. But, yeah, from everything that I've read, it's like a preference thing. Do you prefer Tyler Warren? Do you prefer Colston Loveland? But there isn't this huge gap between the two players. So we'll see. And also, I know people might be saying, 14's too high to pick him. Well, how badly do you need him? I think it's all relative to need and things like that, too. So we'll see, because the board is going to be fluid. It will not shake out how we predict it. I would be shocked if anybody gets the first 14 picks right in their mock draft, just because we know the NFL nature of it, and something.
If you get that right, I'll run around the circle naked, not even put on that green Speedo that I had for the national title game.
I'm trying to figure out if
still
that's
in your
a good
closet
thing or a bad thing.
I was like, I got one more mock draft coming up, KB. Don't tempt me.
I was picking out some briefs the other day, and all of a sudden I'm like, God, I forgot about this thing.
Mark, we'll nominate you to take that video.
Yeah, I'll do it. That's fine. I've seen Kevin shirtless already. Might as well take the pants off too, right?
Can I get this story one day, please?
Corbin's asking, he thought Jim Nantz retired. No, I believe Nantz announced like a 11-year.
Yeah, he wants to keep doing Masters for quite some time.
Which is that kind of like, I don't know. Not to get morbid, but that's a little presumptuous that you're going to be around that long, right?
Yeah, I don't know
How
why.
old is he? How old is he? Hold
Well,
on.
he's got some fairly young kids though, too, doesn't he?
I'm going to guess he's in his early 60s.
Yeah, 65. I mean, my goodness, dang. Mark.
I'm just saying, like, he announced like what, a 12. I mean,
I would say
Father Time comes for everyone. It doesn't matter what.
I mean,
how old
yeah,
you are.
but you were saying the guy
Mark's
like he's
getting
85.
hair dark here on this opening round of the
like,
Masters.
man.
I would say I had less of the morbid thought and more of the, do you really need to announce your retirement 11 years in advance?
He's 65.
Yeah. Oh, that's what
That's
he did?
not that old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that he announced an 11-year extension. Not
No, he said I'm retiring in 11 years.
Okay,
2036 will be my final
That gives you more
Masters.
context, Mark. I take it back, because I was like, dang, okay, yeah. Him saying that does give you a little like, man, why are you saying this so early?
Yeah, what if he loses his fastball?
I got you.
Well, the other thing is you're wearing the Houston Cougars pullover today, too. That's Jim Nantz's alma mater. He and Fred Couples were roommates there.
I was explaining to KB, I've had this hoodie for 4 or 5 years now, because Emma Wright from Hobart, Indiana, Hobart High School, she won state years ago in swimming, and I ended up buying this hoodie because she committed to Houston. Family's great, she's great, and now I believe she transferred to Washington State, I believe. So great kid, but I have a bunch of random hoodies around the house.
From Cougars to Cougars.
Right.
The Houston Cougars.
Exactly.
To the
That was
State
pretty
Cougars.
fitting. So that was cool.
We do have a player under par.
Different
Augusta
Cougar,
National here, very early in round 1. Davis Riley has birdied the par 5 second hole. He's our lone player under par here. Typically the first hole, one of the tougher holes at Augusta. Number 2, par 5 that some players can get there in 2. So the pride of Alabama, Davis Riley under par here.
Let's do morning check.
The Morning Checkdown, brought to you by Butler Bulldogs Basketball. 2025-26 season tickets are on sale now. Registration for iconic Hinkle Fieldhouse premium seats runs through May 31st. Don't miss Hinkle Magic. Visit butlersports.com/buy tickets.
6 players have completed that first hole at the Masters. You talked about Riley being under par. 1 under, Jonathan Vegas, Michael Kim, both even par at this point in time. Kazir and Højgaard, both +1, along with you. Not you, Kevin, but Kevin you. Different Kevin. You. I'm all confused now.
Sounds like a who's on first.
I was going to say.
I was
that's
trying
exactly
here.
what that sounds like.
Yeah.
I was trying. We'll keep you up to date on the Masters all morning long here. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. The NBA, the Pacers were off last night, but everybody was looking at that Lakers-Mavericks game, JB. Luka drops 45 after a stirring welcome home video that probably backfired against the Mavericks, and the home crowd was rooting for the other team all night long.
Yeah, rooting for the hometown kid to a certain degree. I mean, Luka came there when he was a teenager. They had adopted him as family, and he was shipped off. You could tell the pain on his face when he was kind of crying before the game that it still hurts him. And then he goes out there, like you said, and drops 45. So I guess all things are pretty good for Luka because he got to sleep in his own bed for the first time in a while. And, yeah, that's something that Nico Harrison will never live down.
That was an incredible scene last night. Pre-game, obviously, but what Luka did within those 48 minutes, I'll remember that for a long, long time, frankly. I can only imagine what that meant to him, and to have a season-high 45 points, the crowd absolutely roaring for you and wanting to, not to get too morbid, but probably do some things to Nico Harrison that aren't very safe. Yeah, it was electric for a Wednesday night in the NBA.
Denver Nuggets win their debut game without their head coach Michael Malone, who was fired. They go and beat the Sacramento Kings by a score of 124 to 116. Yes, the Joker had a triple-double, but other players were contributing. Christian Braun last night had 25 points, and starting to get a little more trickling out about why that move was made.
Yeah, I guess, a lot of disgruntled players, and Michael Malone really had this attachment to Russell Westbrook and playing him. And as we saw last night when he started stinking it up, they got him on the bench pretty fast, played the young guys, and got a win. Another crazy game, though, too, was the Golden State game. We saw that.
Against Phoenix, right?
Yeah, Harrison Barnes, game winner. That puts their little playoff picture in peril a bit, too.
The West is wild right now from a standing standpoint. A little bit more clarity in the East. The Pacers could have a lot of clarity after tonight, 7 o'clock. That is a TNT game over at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, and Cleveland is sitting quite a few notables. That would be Darius Garland. That would be Donovan Mitchell. That would be Evan Mobley. That would be Max Strus. So you will not get the Cavs' number 1 overall seed lineup by any means. The Pacers, very healthy. Ben Shepherd, the only guy listed on the injury report, is questionable from their normal rotation. Trying to go for win number 49, and with a win tonight or a Milwaukee loss, they would clinch home court. Still an outside chance at the 3 seed here, but again, Cavs tonight, Magic at home tomorrow, at Cleveland Sunday afternoon to round out game 82.
Pre-game starts at 6:30. The game itself starts at 7. Mark Boyle will have the play-by-play for you right here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Major League Baseball, Reds saw their 2-game winning streak come to a close after the San Francisco Giants scored late in the 9th inning to tie it up, and then scored 2 in the 10th to win it by a score of 8-6. And the Cubs were defeated yesterday, too, at Wrigley. Mark, 6-2 by the Texas Rangers. And, Kevin, you were talking about the White Sox and the way that they lost their game yesterday against the Cleveland Guardians.
Just
crazy.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. Rounding third base, the former Cub, somebody tweeted
Mike Tauchman.
His name. Thank you, Mark. Pulls up, but was it officially a hammy?
I think so. I finally saw that video because I didn't know that happened, and he's running around third,
painful,
and then he just all of a
whatever
sudden
it was.
stops. The catcher touches him, and then he just goes to the ground. It's like,
It
oh
was
boy.
quite the sight there. It kind of sums up who the Chicago White Sox are.
Indians won against the Louisville Bats on the road. 7-3 was the final score in that one last night. Those two teams will play again tonight at 6:35.
And we should mention IndyCar back on the schedule coming up this weekend. Long Beach for them. I know IndyCar fans view this one of the more historical races on the schedule. Alex Palou going for 3 in a row to start the year. Scott Dixon during the COVID season, the last person to do that. So pretty rarefied air here for Alex Palou. A variety of winners have happened there on the streets of Long Beach. So that will be late Sunday afternoon. What is it, like 4:30?
That's rare air.
You got a little everything over there
Thank
this
you,
morning,
Coach
Mark.
Ursay.
Woo.
I've got a batch of all kinds of audio.
I like that. All right, coming up in a minute, we will go over our Masters picks again. That tournament is just underway down at Augusta. We'll also get you ready to go for the Pacers' final 3 games of the year. It's all coming up straight ahead on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
There's a reason the song is playing is because apparently some beef.
I got beef. I got beef.
I
got beef with Kevin Bond.
Kevin, right after you left during the break.
Don't give him no. I'm bringing it straight to him.
Okay. Here we go.
So I heard my name came up on JMV yesterday.
Indeed, it did.
It did. Do you want to share with the class what was discussed?
Yeah,
about me, James Boyd.
Indeed. Boy, I go to the bathroom and all of a sudden I come back in here thinking we're going to talk a little Masters on the other side. Yes,
put
you
a bag
me,
over your head and eat with a box full of nickels.
I know. I'm glad Jeff's in between us, I guess. Here, you informed me a couple weeks ago you enjoyed playing a little pickup hoop with JMV.
Yeah, I did.
And I didn't realize until John told me yesterday that I guess you had committed possibly, and obviously feel free to correct any details here.
Oh, I will.
You had told John you were going to play this past Sunday. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And texted him just after midnight saying that you couldn't play. And so John was wondering if I knew the reason why. And I think I made it clear to John I didn't. I said, anytime you have someone in their late 20s that all of a sudden texts you after midnight on a weekend night and back out of an event. Typically, it could involve maybe the night has led to a hair more drinking than they thought. And I said to John, that's not James Boyd. So I know that. And I threw out the idea of, maybe James Boyd had some strange, Whoa.
I did not have that on my bingo card this morning.
He maybe didn't expect, at Saturday at, 9 or 10. And, potentially he wanted to, be a gentleman and have a morning and enjoy that morning. And,
Are we speaking from past experience when you were single?
No. And again, I said to John, I think James is one that would keep, if indeed that is a possibility. Again, it's a hypothetical, just like we threw out draft hypotheticals 2 weeks from tonight.
Oh, this yipping and yapping.
I said, if that was indeed the case, John was disappointed. He goes, well, if that was, I would have appreciated a direct text saying that. I go, James strikes me as someone that plays the cards close to the vest. So, again, hypothetical that I threw out there. Zero confirmation whatsoever on
Denzel in Training Day. I'm putting cases on everybody. That's how I feel. I'm getting YouTube chat. Hey, did you hear what JMV and KB were talking about? I'm getting Twitter DM messages. I'm like, dang, what the heck did I do? And the truth is, I was just exhausted. Honest to God, I went out.
I mean, sometimes some strange can do that to you.
Yeah, every now and then. But no, that definitely was not what happened. I shot. And the funny thing about it is, where I have beef with JMV, who I will, see and give a hard hip check to when we go play again. It's that I texted him.
Can you give a hard hip check?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, have you seen JMV?
Yesterday he was telling us he doesn't take any charges.
Look, when I got beef, things change, and I still wouldn't take a charge in the beef. You just fouled the guy hard. So I shot him a text, and then I'm like, I don't hear anything back at all. And then I hear about this on the air days later. So this is classic JMV. So kids, I would just imagine.
So it's your beef with JMV or with Kevin?
It's with both, by association.
I think if you go back,
this is like when you're in school, you swing on somebody and somebody else get the giggling. I'm swinging on you too. Why are you laughing?
I think if you go back and listen to the audio, I would highly encourage you to do that.
Keep my name out your.
This is a little pro. This is a pro football talk, piece here.
I was just joking.
I think if you listen to the audio, and I just threw out a couple of potential hypotheticals. John said they had someone back out a half hour before. I go, backing out a half hour before, that is a straight hangover. That is 1,000%. You thought the 2 Advil and the full cup of water at 7:30 was going to work, and all of a sudden it did not work.
No, my mind was honestly thinking, like, why would I wake up at, 6:30 to tell a guy, hey, I'm not going to hoop with you at 8? Like, that's dumb to me. So I was like, let me just make it clear the night before.
Well, and what time did that game end? I mean, Houston ended at what?
Yeah,
11,
I was thinking I hadn't really gotten much sleep that weekend.
That was late. It was almost midnight actually in that game.
Am I really going to get up and drive over to Greenwood to go hoop with this guy? And I'm like, that doesn't seem like it's going to be likely, so I'd rather you just tell me. Or I could have no-showed, but, out of the kindness of my heart, I told him the truth.
Kindness of your heart. Mark, I've never been so happy.
I think it's John always stirring up some, what.
Yeah. Mark, I've never been so happy to not be involved in this conversation than right now.
You're in the middle of it, though, so if fists start flying, you better start ducking.
No. There'll be no fists.
Just, cracking the knuckles over
yesterday,
here.
I'm in the safe zone. I'm over here.
No, earlier in the week, you're like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm a $150 wet. I'm not squaring up on anybody, and now you're ready to go.
Yeah, I lied. So just got to keep you on your toes.
By the way, tomorrow I've always viewed this man as a prized fighter. Going to join us at 9:00. One of our favorites, Chuck Pagano, going to join us.
Nice.
When you think about kind of a mid-April calendar, don't know how much it resonates necessarily to our audience, but it's become an annual event, and just an unbelievable credit to the Irsay family for continuing this long after Chuck Pagano has, certainly been the head coach of the Colts. It's the Chuck Strong Gala, however you want to call it. This dates back to 2013, the first ever, and they have raised, I believe the number is around $15 million for IU Simon Cancer Center and research there. Just unbelievable. What, again, not only Chuck has done, but certainly the Irsay family we're talking the year after he was fired. We're talking when he was coaching Chicago. For those that forget, Chuck is now an assistant back with Baltimore. Yeah, he's back with John Harbaugh's staff. So Chuck will be in town, and he'll join us coming up 9:00 tomorrow.
I believe this year the guest speaker is Jim Kelly.
Yes.
Other cancer survivor.
Yeah, Andrew Luck last year, Jim Kelly, who I think most sports fans know the full cancer story there. It's pretty remarkable. So awesome that he's continued to get people like this, and kind of shows who Chuck Pagano is as a human being.
Where are they having that at? Where's it going to be?
Over the complex.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's look, the way it went down. We all know what happened, but you can't. How do you not like Chuck Pagano? He's a good man.
And I think we've had this story. I know Chuck has shared it, I think, and I don't know, maybe I'll ask him about it again when he joins us coming up in the 9:00 hour tomorrow. But, the NFL schedule will come out probably, like a month from now? It's typically, I think, like early to mid-May. And, back in that 2012 season, Chuck's first as a head coach, the Colts had the earliest bye week in the NFL. They had a week 4 bye, extremely early.
That is crazy.
In their schedule. And I think they were 1-2, if I'm not mistaken, and Chuck had a midweek practice before the bye week, and all of a sudden, his wife, Tina, I think encouraged him. He finally said to the Colts doctors, hey, I see I think it was like some bumps or some bruising maybe on his arms. And Chuck has shared this. He's like, as a first-time head coach, having just lost the week prior, if we don't have the week 4 bye, I probably don't listen to Tina. I probably don't carry through with the, hey, team doctors, will you check this out a little bit? And very quickly after that initial, hey, will you check this out? He was in the hospital. And the story is obviously, history from there. So it's eerie when he tells that, because, James, you've covered the Colts now for a couple seasons. You're used to like a December bye week.
Yeah.
And Chuck's like, as a first-time head coach, if we had a later bye week, I'm being macho man football coach. I'm hunkered down, and I'm not showing signs of weakness or however you want to view it there. So it's an awesome event that they continue to do on an annual basis, and looking forward to catching up with Chuck Pagano coming up tomorrow at 9.
I'm really looking forward to that. I've always been a big Chuck Pagano fan, and I understand the way things worked out and why moves had to be made, and that was all good. But again, just an outstanding human being, and so glad that they're still doing that. Glad the Colts are still supporting that. We are checking in on the Masters throughout the morning here. Coming up in a minute, we will recap for those who may have heard the draft yesterday but didn't get to hear the finish this morning. A few 8 o'clockers, we'll kind of go over what our teams look like. And we've decided, based on the input of a listener, what that prize will be for whoever collectively has the lowest score for the 4 of us in here. So I know everybody in India is hanging on that, Mark Dykton.
You know it.
All right.
That's a tease.
That's right. We'll talk about that next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning. If you're a golfer, it is a terrific day. The Masters is underway. They are playing. Now, Kevin, I think you can watch a couple of holes on the app before the actual broadcast begins on ESPN at 3 this afternoon, correct?
Yeah, you can. I mean, honestly, you can watch a lot. I know they have featured pairings on the app. Yes, they do allow the ability to watch specific holes as well.
Kevin's a hole watcher.
I don't think I need to be a fanboy of the Masters any more than I already am, but I would highly encourage, if you want to actually not work today and watch the Masters, you need the app. I mean, TV coverage I don't think comes on until like 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
It's always weird that it's so late. It's such a big tournament, and then it's like middle of the afternoon is when they start coverage.
I mean, they just do things oddly there.
I don't get it.
They have now. The one thing about the TV coverage that a lot of people like, there's hardly any commercials. I mean, once they do come on air, it very limited from a commercial standpoint. I think if you have a Paramount Plus account, I think that's like the CBS streaming, you can do some things, maybe ESPN Plus on that. But again, the app is free, and if you don't care about your boss, download it.
Yeah, they said it like this year where there was going to be extended coverage and there's going to be more. You can watch more of it live. I'm like, yeah, it should be that every year. That shouldn't be an exception. That should be. It's the biggest tournament in the sport. It should be every year. You should be able to watch all the holes.
We have 3 players at 1 under par right now through 3. Well, Riley is through 4. He's 1 under par. Jonathan Vegas is 1 under par through 3. Michael Kim 1 under through 3 as well. Højgaard is +2. He's bringing up the rear right now for the guys on the course. So still a lot of guys to tee off, and still an afternoon wave to go as well. But we'll keep you up to date all day long right here, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Yesterday, we had the first 2 rounds of our player draft, where we're going to draft 3 players, add up their cumulative score, and whoever the lowest score of those 3, when it's over, would get a prize. We didn't know what the prize was going to be. We finished the draft up this morning, and we had a great listener with a tremendous idea, Mark.
Shout out to David.
Yeah, David in the YouTube chat said, how about the winner, much like the Masters winner, gets to select a meal, and the losers have to buy that meal, and then we all have it in studio. And I said, that's a fantastic idea. And Kevin got even more giddy.
He got excited.
Fettuccine Alfredo.
That's what I want.
Like,
boy, at 8 something in the morning.
So we got microwaves around here?
Pacinis, baby. We got microwaves, brother.
All right.
I hope a side of Pepto-Bismol comes with that.
Gee, I mean, I'm not asking you to,
Well, I love
It's
fettuccine
not like
Alfredo.
Skyline Chili.
Yeah, come on. Now it's fettuccine
Yeah,
Alfredo.
but I'm saying
you
at
at?
8 in the morning.
You're how old are you?
39.
Yeah, you acted like you're 79 with that comment.
Where are you going for your dinner, for your meal?
Oh, I don't know.
I got to think about this.
I mean, I'm winning, so I don't know. We'll see.
You guys were all, I think, fans of the Scotty Scheffler champions.
Yeah, I
meal
mean,
the other night.
that's the thing. Are we putting like a price limit on this thing? Because otherwise, you guys are coming in with like full racks of ribs and everything.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be reasonable,
Cheeseburger
but nice.
sliders from Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
He went with a little firecracker shrimp, Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites. He threw in the first course of Texas-style chili. The main course was either a ribeye or redfish, and then I love the dessert, the warm chocolate chip skillet cookie.
Mm-hmm. That's
thinking,
excellent.
Damn.
Was there anything green on that plate you just read?
If I'm James Boyd, if you sound like Mike Chappell over there, worried about
what are you looking at?
Is it?
No, I'm
is there
saying
any-
I would prefer a side. It was just like, all right.
I mean, there are some sides here. I see some, family style mac and cheese. Isn't
All
that
right,
green?
I was just making sure it was some. I was like, okay, is it a ribeye?
You got some corn. You got some Brussels sprouts. You've got some sweet potatoes if you like.
All right, yeah,
I'm a little
I
bit
like
more
sweet
worried of like
potatoes.
if I walked in there with whatever my size 34 pants, I might in the first tee I might have a button pop off today.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I feel like I would just have a to-go box ready to go. Because there's no way I could eat all that in one sitting. And then go play a round of golf? Are you kidding me? No chance. No chance.
I don't know. When I win this, Mark, I kind of see some Harry and Izzy sliders in my future.
That's fine.
Jeez.
I'd be fine with that.
Wait a minute. Harry and Izzy's. I don't know if I've got the
I was about to
paycheck
say,
to be
hold
doing
on.
that.
Yeah.
You
Jeez.
can go to lunch and get a couple of sliders and a side dish and get out of there for $20 or
White
so.
Castle sliders you'll be
Jeez,
getting.
What are you talking about? I'm not giving you
Dang.
guys like a $30 or $40 bill here. Come on now. There's 3 of you. There's 3 of you.
Well, how many courses are we doing here? That's the other question. Is this just like a main course and then like a dessert, or what are we doing here?
So what's the price cap then? If you guys are worried about that, which I am too, but what's the price cap?
Yeah, we have
No, we need
Jeff Rich Ricker.
25 bucks?
Yeah.
We had 25 bucks, maybe?
Commas in the paycheck might look different for you.
Wow. No.
Than it does for me.
I would say
you would be surprised.
I would say is 35? Is that reasonable?
Yeah, and I can
35?
get all that for less than 35 bucks over there.
I'm checking right now.
When's the last time you went and had lunch over there? That's good. That's a good value right there. Man.
It might have been a while.
You get out again. A couple of sliders on the side, you get out of there for less than 25, 30 bucks.
That's an expensive lunch for me.
Well, you can't go once a month to do something like that?
No. Not with 3 kids.
Well, that's
and
true.
a producer's salary. No.
Yeah, here it is. The sliders are $6 each.
Not bad.
So you can get a filet mignon, fried chicken, or a fried shrimp slider.
We weren't even paid to do this today. They got some free pub today.
I was just making sure. I was just fact checking,
Not all that bad. So remind us of the teams that we have right now, Mark.
Okay, so again, James had the first overall pick, and then we did snake like we did with the backup quarterback draft. So he took Scotty Scheffler. I took Rory McIlroy. Jeff took Xander Schauffele. Kevin took Colin Morikawa, and then Kevin was back up. Almost called you Kyle. Justin Thomas was his next pick. Ludwig Aber was Jeff's pick. John Rahm for me. Thomas Dietrich for James. Then James's final selection was Bryson DeChambeau. I took Shane Lowry. Jeff took Jason Day, and Kevin wrapped it up with Jordan Spieth.
I really like that Jordan Spieth pick as the last pick. That's value
it's
right
so
there.
Volatile though. I mean, he is just. You want to talk about a quarterback? We made the analogy earlier about Richardson needs to find boring better. There ain't nothing about watching Jordan Spieth play golf. That man is entertaining as hell. So. If you're going to want a roller coaster ride here for the next 4 days, hop on the Jordan Spieth bandwagon.
Help me out with Jordan Spieth because he bursts onto the scene. He starts winning tournaments all over the place, wins big tournaments, and everybody thinks he's going to be the next big thing. And then it just kind of came to a grinding halt for a while there. What was going on?
He's crazy.
Is that what it is?
He's a very volatile golfer. He rides a hot putter. He's streaky as hell. He's got unbelievable short game, which I think helps. And, there probably is a little bit of an element as the game of golf has grown to how far you can hit it. He probably is not one that necessarily fits that bill either. But I think around this place, though, he's got some magic, and he's got a great track record here. And I think he's played better this year. So, and plus, I just enjoy entertainment. And I think he is not a boring golfer whatsoever.
Yeah, I saw the other guy that's always been interesting to me, too, coming on huge and still been consistent. I think he's the world number one or he's close to it right now. Rory McIlroy, who I watched in Charlotte win a golf tournament last year. I thought Rory was going to be the next guy that would win 6 or 8 majors. How many does he have right now?
I don't know. What's he got? I don't know. Handful, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. Obviously, he's never won a Masters. That is the elusive one there. So, yes, he is still trying to go for that.
I think it points out how spoiled we were with Tiger Woods just winning everything all the time, or at least 1 or 2 majors a year, it seemed like, and we're reminded that just doesn't happen. It's just rare. It just doesn't happen. I don't care if a guy wins a couple of majors before he turns 25. It just doesn't happen that way.
No. I mean, it's the anomaly. That's why he is the GOAT, in my opinion.
Well, me being the golf expert can answer your question. Roy,
as you Google it up right there.
Hey, stop snitching, man! I gotta turn the laptop. Dang, man, Jeff, let me have my moment. So
you were making fun of yourself.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking. He's won 4, 2 PGAs, 1 U.S. Open, and 1 Open Championship.
I think he's got a good shot this week.
But he hasn't won a major since 2014.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I mean, last year the U.S. Open heartbreak with Bryson, and I think a lot of people probably watched that reaction there as Rory was watching
Second
it
place
all
was the
unfold
Masters in 2022.
in the scoring 10. Yeah, I mean, he has 7 top 10s in the Masters.
Jeez.
7 top 10s and number 1.
Is Scotty Scheffler, I talked about Rory and what his ranking is. I'm not sure right now. I think Scheffler it's either he or Scheffler that's number 1 right now. But Scotty Scheffler, he's been the most consistent guy over the last couple of years, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
just week in, week out.
Yeah, I mean, hell, he's won 2 of the last 3 Masters, if you just want to look at it from this tournament. Yeah, Scotty is there was a time there where people thought, hey, Scotty or the field. I don't know if that was the smartest bet in the world, but there was a little bit of that, which, again, in the game of golf, that's super, super rare. So I can't wait, and we are underway from Augusta National. We'll continue to keep you updated. You got about 20 or so guys, I think, on the golf course here early on, and you got a couple under par. Mike Weir, how about that?
Let's go, Mike Weir.
Mark played his walk-up music earlier. The Canadian, Johnny Vegas, the Colombian, and Michael Kim, the American. So we got a little 3-person trio at the top of the leaderboard, all those under par very early here at Augusta National.
And for the vets, Bernard Longer's on the course, even through one.
I'll
He always
take it.
just hangs around. Even though he's older, he always just hangs around for a while at the Masters. See what he does this week. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll talk Pacers. Alex Golden, setting the pace, stops by in a moment, along with KBJB. I'm Jeff and Mark Dykton. It's the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Pacer Sports and Entertainment, who also run the Fever, have announced that the tickets for the All-Star Game are going to go on sale the 29th of April. People getting excited about that. That's going to be a fun weekend.
WNBA All-Star Weekend, and so I will certainly be excited about it. I don't think Caitlin Clark will get any rest that weekend because if she's anything like Tyrese Halliburton was a few years ago, she's going to be a busy woman.
She'll be the queen, right?
Yeah, the unofficial ambassador, host, mayor of the city.
And then last year, we had what I thought was a cool format where you ran into an Olympic year, so you had the Olympic team play the WNBA All-Star team.
Yeah.
But I would assume, at the very least, Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston would be on that team, and who knows? I mean, the Fever
Kelsey Mitchell?
Yeah, definitely Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, the Fever could have. They have several All-Stars that they have added here this year. Just a reminder, WNBA draft also is Monday. No first-round pick for the Fever. That was part of the trade for Sophie Cunningham. That was a big trade. Melissa Smith was involved in that. So they've got a couple of, I think it's late-ish second-round picks back-to-back and a third-rounder as well. So definitely not the same amount of fireworks as last year.
Did you guys
what that draft produced last year?
Did you see Caitlin Clark with David Letterman?
I've been meaning to watch it. I've just seen a snippet or two of it, but have been meaning to watch it.
She's just as good at throwing grapes in a water glass from across the room as she is hitting threes. It's insane.
She's one of those people where I wonder, it's similar to Steph Curry. I've never seen Caitlin golf, but I know that Steph is like a really good amateur golfer. And I wonder if her hand-eye coordination is so great that she would have been a great golfer as well. I mean, she's one of those people where she's so good at basketball. I'm like, I can't imagine that there's other sports out there that you wouldn't be pretty good at as well.
I would say it's a smart bet. Having seen her swing a couple times in these, Pro-Am events.
She's not looking like me when we were out there with Shane Steichen?
No. She would have won, I think, the Shane Steichen competition with us.
All right, let's check the Payless Liquors hotline right now. One of our favorites, Alex Golden, is on the line, Setting the Pace podcast, and I see him. He's there every night as the Pacers make their run through the season here. And Alex, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate that. We saw the list of available players for the Cavs tonight. Who will be playing in this game this evening?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have about 4 guys out at least listed right now with Mitchell and Garland, Mobley, and Strus. So, I think this will be a good opportunity for the Pacers to see how good Ty Jerome has been all season long.
He actually has been really good for that team. I mean, that dude can play. And we know the nightmares he gave, the Purdue fans here a couple years ago. But, Alex, I do want to go back to the other night. Alex is my buddy I go to the game with, and I'm usually sitting next to him, and we laugh at whatever we see. And so I had a chance to listen to the broadcast, but I just picture you cracking up at the smothered chicken, calls from our boy Quinn Buckner. What'd you think of him, I guess, gracing Miles with that term, that slogan after his performance the other night?
I mean, the smothered chicken's a great thing, right? And so, I was very tempted to ask Quinn before the game, how come we didn't get a smothered chicken when they had 17 blocks against Utah Jazz, which was like the 3rd most blocks ever in a Pacers game in Pacers history? We didn't get one smothered chicken. And then we get one against the Washington Wizards out of nowhere. And I'm like, I'm glad I didn't say anything because Quinn's stingy, and if you ask him about it, he won't usually say it. But I did ask him last year about it pregame, and he was like, I'm not giving you any answer. And then I guess Tyrese followed up and asked him about it, and he actually gave Tyrese a smothered chicken on a blocked 3-point shot, which I thought was pretty lame. So I think if the right person is in Quinn's ear, he might give it to him, but I don't think I have that power. But I'm glad I didn't say anything because I think it actually gave us a smothered chicken by me, for once, shutting up in my life.
You're too self-deprecating. No, you are the right person in his ear because everyone wanted to hear it. But when we heard it the other night, I was like, this is theater. This is theater right here.
Well, I'll say this, JB. If the Pacers win tonight and they clinch home court advantage, this will obviously be a benefactor to you because he's your favorite player. We might get 25, 30 minutes of Thomas Bryant.
Yes.
How epic would it be
for
an IU guy, Quinn Buckner, to give an IU legend, Thomas Bryant, a smothered chicken in one of the final 2 games? I mean, I don't know if we're ready for that. I don't think fans are ready for that, but I am definitely got my popcorn ready for that one.
A man can dream.
I'm praying for it.
Again, Alex Golden, Setting the Pace. Excellent listen from a podcast standpoint. He's with us here, Payless Liquors Hotline. Alex, I see you're doing a little ticket giveaway for Fan Appreciation Night.
Yeah, we got something going on here with our Blue Wire Podcast Network. There is a new group chat called the BCC, and so we're going to be partnering with them to kind of have a place for fans to come chat with me and Facci during the game about what's going on instead of it always just being on Twitter. Because you know how Twitter can kind of be with a lot of bots and things like that. This will kind of keep that out of there. So it's a different place, and it's kind of a promotion type thing. But cool partnership with them, and they've actually purchased the tickets for us to give away. So a really cool idea.
Again, that is at Alex Golden NBA on Twitter. If the playoffs started tomorrow, Alex, what's your rotation look like?
Yeah, good question. I think obviously starting five is going to be the same. I think Benedict Mathurin is the person I trust the most off the bench. And then you've got T.J. McConnell, Obi Toppin. I think those are your 8 locks. And then if you're looking for a 9 to 10-man rotation, it'll be interesting. Thomas Bryant, to me, has not been playing as well as of late. And so the struggles from him have almost made it harder to play him. But thankfully, Obi Toppin stepped his game up as kind of like a small ball 5, and his three-point shooting since the All-Star break has just been through the roof. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a similar 10-man rotation like they do throughout the regular season. We saw that last year in the first round of the playoffs. Then it kind of dwindles down each round they went further into. So I wouldn't be surprised if Brian gets some time. But it's really fascinating between Ben Shepherd, if he's healthy, and Jarris Walker, who kind of gets that final spot in the rotation, because we've seen Jarris playing well. He didn't play particularly well on Tuesday night against the Wizards, and so he was pulled pretty early, only played about 6 minutes, didn't play in the second half. So I know Coach was on here this week talking about Jarris's minutes this season and stuff like that, but I don't know. He's been playing well. Shepard's not been shooting the basketball well. I think Jarris gives you a higher ceiling, but Shepard's defense is something that you can't replace, and while it might not be as high in terms of what Jarris could do defensively, it's more consistent. So whatever I think Coach does, it's not going to matter that much between those two, but with Jarris' three-point shooting, I think you got to give him a look, especially if you're playing Milwaukee, a team that's very long. Having a 6'8", forward out there that's got a 7'3" wingspan could be very beneficial.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you make there at the end. I think Walker's length compared to Shepherd, especially if it is indeed the Bucks, could factor into that decision a little bit there. Let's play this out that it is Milwaukee in round one, putting Giannis obviously to the side. What does worry you non-Giannis division, if anything?
Yeah, well, it's going to sound crazy, but Gary Trent Jr. has been unbelievable against the Pacers this year. It's like he, for some reason, he always finds a way to get open. I feel like he's shooting like 60-some% against the Pacers from 3 this year. And Brook Lopez has been a problem at times for the Pacers. I know the game where Tyrese had the incredible game winner in the corner where Giannis fouled him. I mean, you got to remember, Brook Lopez, I think maybe missed 1 or 2 shots that entire game, had like 20-something points. When he's hitting from 3 and he's got the size down low, that's going to be huge. I think the Dame Lillard aspect is really interesting with the Bucks because of this blood clot. If he were to return, I think it might actually make the Bucks worse. I know that sounds crazy to say just because he's such a threat offensively, but if he's not 100% healthy, this gives somebody the Pacers to attack on defense. If he's not out there, I think Milwaukee's a better defensive team, and so that could be challenging as we've seen the Bucks, really use their length against the Pacers in the zone and even just man-to-man stuff. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but they do have Bobby Portis back now from his suspension where he missed 25 games. They've got a lot of size, and the Pacers are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league, so I think that could be problematic.
Alex, when it comes to Tyrese, we saw how he looked early in the season. We see how he looking now. I believe he is an all-NBA candidate for that third-team spot. But how much do you think he's just eager to sort of show, okay, last year wasn't a fluke, last year I probably wasn't healthy, and to lead this team out of the first round?
I mean, I think Tyrese always has a chip on his shoulder, right? He wants to prove to people that he belongs and that he is a special talent, which we already know that he is. But the beginning of the year, it was rough. I mean, I was not sure what was going on with Tyrese. And to me, it seemed like a combination of injuries to the team, mentality. I don't think he was there mentally all the way. And he talked about it kind of openly, like he was struggling with some stuff, and it kind of helped him get through this insane season was just, different people in his ears. So I think if you give him a playoff opportunity to kind of prove how special he is, he's going to do it. Because if you look at this season, really, pre-All-Star break and post-All-Star break. The pre-All-Star break, this was kind of Pascal's team, and he was kind of running the show and carrying this team. Post-All-Star break, it's been the flip side of that where Tyrese has been kind of spearheading the Pacers, play as of late. So I think that he's talented, and I think people are remembering just how special he is, especially with how he takes care of the basketball And it seems like whenever the game's on the line, Tyrese always finds himself with the ball in his hands with a chance to make a shot, and he usually does succeed on that. So just another great opportunity for him to build his legacy.
Alex Golden joining us here from Setting the Pace on the Fan Morning Show. Non-Pacers division, Lakers in Luka's return to Dallas last night get the win. Emotional tribute to Luka before the game. He goes off for 45. The Fire Nico chants going on. We were talking about this earlier. Can you think of anything quite like that moment that we've seen in the NBA?
No, there's never going to be another moment that tops. I mean, that's got to be one of the craziest trades in NBA history. I mean, I was surprised that we didn't hear the Fire Nico chants during Luka's introduction. They were giving him a lot of praise, but that's just a crazy trade, and I still can't believe it happened. I think Zach Lowe was tweeting about it. It doesn't even feel like it's real life, and I mean that's really how it feels. I mean, the fact that they traded away their franchise guy is just so absurd to me, and so. I feel for every Mavericks fan, and I actually feel for Luka Dončić. I mean, just seeing him crying, he never wanted to leave. And it's how rare is it that you see a guy that's a top 3, top 5 player in the league feel like he doesn't want to go anywhere? When you have special players like that, you don't trade them. So this is one of the most absurd things I've ever seen. I would be shocked if we ever see it happen again. Maybe in time it'll happen, but I think as people kind of look and see how bad this has gone, I wonder if it's going to make people a little bit more fearful to trade star-level players like that.
I just see Alex Golden side-eyeing Kevin Pritchard all right, you've done us good, but don't don't send Tyrese for out the window anytime soon. But
yeah, it'd be like trading Tyrese for Dame Lillard. It doesn't even make sense. I mean, it's the guy's in his prime and Dame's a good player, but he's often injured, and it's just what are you doing here? You've already built something with Luka. So stupid.
I completely agree. Last one from me, Alex. When it comes to Aaron Nesmith, who again we kind of forget he started the year with the weird ankle injury, missed a ton of games, but will probably finish the season at 50, 40, 90. I don't think he'll actually qualify because you need a certain amount of attempts from the free throw line. I think that's the one area he's short from. But overall, probably the best statistical season of his career. He's playing really well going into the playoffs. How much do you think he can factor into what they're hoping to do in the postseason, assuming that it is a Bucks matchup and what he can do to kind of disrupt things on defense and also knock down some shots?
He's been great. I mean, I honestly can't say enough great things about how Aaron Nesmith has played since the All-Star break and really even coming back from injury. Against the Bucks, he just gives them such an extra element because they've been playing Pascal on Giannis a lot, but really everybody else on the team, there's no better option outside of Pascal to go to than Aaron Nesmith. And Aaron Nesmith can really defend, even though he's given up, he's 6'5" and Giannis is 7 foot. He's given up a ton of height. He's just so physical and plays with so much heart, and it's nonstop the entirety of the game. And on top of that, he is hitting shots. He's really improved his offensive game as well. It's not just, I'm a good three-point shooter. He's hitting pull-up twos now. He's doing things that you're not really expecting from him. And then the free throw line stuff is just through the roof. I don't want to jinx it, but it's just I don't feel like he's ever going to miss when he's at the free throw line. I feel more confident with him taking those shots than even Tyrese at the end of the game. So it's just that says a lot, too, when you're talking about how good of a free throw shooter Tyrese is. So, yeah, I think Aaron Nesmith is kind of the forgotten piece on this team. I know a lot of people praise Nembhard for being the number one defender, but let's not forget what happened last year. Andrew Nembhard really struggled with Jalen Brunson, and it was when they made that change, put Nesmith on him, that the game flipped around. So we had Nesmith on our podcast in the offseason, and he said, I hope the front office doesn't make any changes to the roster. I want to run it back. And he said if they would have beat Boston, he thought they would have beat Dallas for the NBA Finals. So I just love the confidence that Nesmith has, and you can see it how he plays on the court. So I think he's just he's a massive game changer for this team.
I think it's huge, too, when your best defender on the ball is also such a clutch free throw shooter to that point. Mm-hmm. It really helps you out lineup-wise. Late in games. Setting the Pace is the podcast. Alex Golden, preview-wise for the next week, because frankly, outside of a bet of 50 wins for the Pacers, I don't care about the last 3 games. What are you guys looking at before the playoff series begins?
Yeah, I'll be doing a recap tonight and probably recapping the Magic game. I think that, at this point in the season, I think we're all just ready for the playoffs. I mean, we're at game 80, and you're seeing some of these wonky lineups based on who's playing and who's not playing. So it'll be fun to maybe highlight some guys that won't get much run in the playoffs here if the Pacers can lock up tonight against the Cavs. So that's interesting. I think the other thing just to monitor, obviously, is the Detroit and the Milwaukee games that are coming up as they play a home series here. So that'll be fascinating because if the Pistons went out, they could jump up to 5. So the Bucks still have to beat the Pelicans, hope the Pistons maybe lose to the Knicks, but I think the Knicks are sitting guys as well. And then that matchup against each other could be pretty fascinating. So keeping an eye on who the Pacers' opponent could be is probably the angle we'll look at as we head into the playoff previews.
Reminder, at Alex Golden NBA. He's got that ticket giveaway coming up for tomorrow night, Fan Appreciation Night with the Magic in town. Alex, always enjoy the combos. Hope Fletcher is doing well, and hopefully we'll have a chat or two come playoff time.
Yeah, Fletcher's doing great, and I hope you guys don't have to, break the bank paying for Jeff's sliders. I hope you guys don't lose
$6 a piece, Alex. $6 a piece. Come on.
Can you Venmo us, Alex? We're going to need some help here.
I'm going to need some of that setting the pace money.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've got much to give you, but, come on. Harry and Izzy's, what are we doing? Mark Sykton didn't even get that for the backup quarterback draft. So, just hating on
I
Mark.
sent him a 10-pack.
I think I paid $2.99 for Mark's snack.
Yeah,
and he was very happy, I believe, with the $2.99.
Very
Alex,
happy.
thank you, sir.
Yes.
What meal are you getting for $3, Kevin?
Well, I'm not saying $3, but I think, if I try
Have we decided on a cap for real, though?
If you have a cap, that's fine.
I try to keep my lunch, certainly less than $15.
So I do have an update while we're talking to Alex, though.
Right.
Okay. Shout out to Jeff, not Jeff Rickard, but Jeff Stoller. He is the one of the Harry and Izzy's chefs. He said, here's his email address. And he said, whenever you guys want lunch, I pick up the tab.
Look at this.
My man.
Jeff.
I like it.
To Chef Jeff.
He's the #1 fan of the morning show now, isn't
Unbelievable.
he? That's terrific.
So guy's like, let me get your information, sir. Please, yes.
This isn't a phishing email, is it?
No.
You check the at sign at all?
Mark's on the Harry and Izzy's website looking up the staff here. Mm-hmm. There is something about the white cloth lunch where if I walk into those establishments, I'm like, gosh, I feel like James Boyd at the Breakers. I'm just like, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Yeah.
I'm underdressed.
Like,
for lunch.
should I go wash the dishes? That's probably where I belong, in all honesty.
I told you I got stopped by a security guard, right? I was walking through the hallway of the Breakers.
This was not because you almost ran over Serena Williams?
No. The guy stops me, and he had seen me a couple of times because they had a guy standing to open the door for us to the media room. That was literally their job. And I was like, this is so pristine and
the most NFL owners meetings things I've ever heard.
And he saw me when I was like later in the day. He's like, hey, has this kicked in yet? And I'm like, huh? He's like, has it sank in yet? That you're here, this is real. And I was like, no, not at all. I was like, I said, I've been this is my second one. I'm like, this is a crazy every time. And he got a kick out of that. He enjoyed it. He was like, hey, just enjoy it while you're here. And obviously I did.
One for our suburban moms here early on at Augusta National. This would be maybe the older age group of mothers, not discriminating by any means. The one, the only, the seemingly always good-looking, sweet swinging, smooth tempo Freddie Couples has birdied the first hole. Mark, give me an age on Fred Couples if you don't mind.
Sure.
Zach Johnson. Throwing it back a bit.
Here's what I will tell you.
Only person at 2 under par as of now. He got about 7 or 8 at 1 under. Chris Kirk just joined Zach Johnson. So the Georgian Chris Kirk in his home state. And, of course, Zach Johnson, a past champion. 2 under through 4. We've got about 20, 25 guys on the golf course so far.
Frederick Stephen Couples is 65 years old.
Yeah, he and Nance were roommates at Houston.
Yeah, that story is wild. Of like Nance and him roommates at Houston. Nance was on the golf team.
Yeah.
And Nance was certainly not Fred Couples good at golf. And he said to Fred Couples one day, I will call your Masters win. And lo and behold, that's what happened.
Oh, we're being peered at from the glass outside the studio by Eddie White.
I'm about to say, dang, what the heck?
Bringing good stuff.
Looked like a bird chirping in there.
Jeez, I'm about to get
through.
I thought I was, about to jump Kevin. I'm about to
he's
get jumped
bringing
by
food.
Eddie White.
You ever played Augusta?
Yes.
Of course Eddie White's played Augusta.
You know I played Augusta. I like how he gave the softball there. Yes, I have played Augusta.
Just queuing you up.
How many times?
Been to 20 Masters, played Augusta, played it with Chairman Payne. And to answer your question, Caitlin Clark can play golf.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And she's getting better, too. That became her off-season obsession last year, didn't it?
Curry won that celebrity thing out in Tahoe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, we've seen Steph playing some Corn Ferry events. So you brought some cookies here for WNBA All-Star Weekend?
Yeah, I'm not here. I would love to just come and see you guys because I love each and every one of you. Some more than others.
Feelings mutual.
Right. But obviously, you guys talked about this earlier. This is 100 days out from the WNBA All-Star Game. And they made the announcement today about, tickets are available, all that stuff. So we wanted to do something nice. So we brought you these basketball cookies that we shared. We should make sure
this is so Indiana.
Can I flash this to the camera right here? Look at these cookies.
You see that? Yeah.
Look at that.
Mark, are the cameras working?
Yeah, we got you and Eddie White sharing a camera.
Now, where are these courtesy of? Lord knows you didn't make these.
Yeah, I made them last night. In fact, I made them this morning. I got them at 4 a.m. That's the good bakeries do that.
Delicious.
But have one. Make sure Dykton gets one because he works for a living.
Yeah, give me something.
But 100 days out. We had such a wonderful NBA All-Star weekend.
Yeah. We did.
And now we'll have a WNBA All-Star game. And I know you guys were talking about it. There's a chance. I mean, who knows? Maybe 5 Fever players start the All-Star game.
That's crazy.
I mean,
I don't think the league would let that happen, would
Don't
they?
we have 5 of the top 10 scorers from last year on our current roster?
They're trying to stack the deck. I know that.
Well, you have 5 James, correct me if I'm wrong. You have 5 All-Stars, right? I mean, Clark, Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard as well. Mm-hmm. And am I missing one, or is that?
No, I think that's it.
I mean, think about that. 5 of your 12-person roster.
Half the All-Star roster will be Fever players.
Well, half your Fever roster is going to be, past All-Stars. So
they have to earn it.
They will.
Sure.
They will, Eddie.
There's a chance there could be no Fever players on the All-Star game.
That would be sad.
There's one that will make it.
I think there's a better chance of me playing Augusta tomorrow than no Fever player.
I have a question about Chairman Payne. Do you refer to him as Chairman Payne or Billy, the two of you, when you're playing?
When we played, I called him the first time Mr. Payne.
Right.
And then he said, call me Billy.
Okay.
And then on the first tee, he said it was his son Porter and Porter's friend from Atlanta. Mr. Payne was stretching. He says, Eddie, I think we could play the old guys versus the young guys. Hit a good one, partner. And I was then his partner. So I called him Pardsy the rest of the night. And the trivia
sounds like Chris and Quinn right here.
Yeah.
Yes, Pardsy. Hey, partner. You're right. Very good. God, you do listen. I love that. The thing is, that was his first ever round as chairman of Augusta, because they did the passing of the baton the night before.
No kidding.
And so the trivia question is, who was Billy Payne's partner his first round as chairman of Augusta National? You're looking at it. Mr.
Unbelievable.
This is going to kill scratch golf.
What a trivia question. Man, Scotty, you got a new trivia question for today. Eduardo Blanco.
Thanks for letting me bother you guys, but it's always good to see you. Hey, let me tell you, can I say something? You guys are enjoyable to listen to. It really is fun. I love the different perspectives. I love the different coming from all angles and stuff like that, and it's enjoyable. And Dykton, I don't know how you do it. I don't know whether you drink, if you're doing, you got Jack Daniels over there.
This is not coffee, I can tell you that much.
But, I mean,
he's got Jack and the Buckies.
Hey, good to see you guys. God bless you. Remember, 100 days out, WNBA All-Star game.
And we'll hear from you tonight right after the game, right?
Well, it is the world's greatest postgame.
Of course.
We don't have any tariffs on the world's.
I was driving around listening to you and Mark.
Love all the countries. Love all the countries. All the countries global. They listen to us. They love the show.
Aren't you going across the hall after this?
It's time to go now, right?
Aren't you going across the hall after this?
Oh, I'm warming up for the crowd. Very good. You can tell that guy went to Cathedral and he got some brains. Isn't it unbelievable?
The greats, anyway.
See you,
right
buddy.
There. 100
Thank
days
you.
out.
Thanks, Eddie.
WNBA All-Star game.
I think that we need a quick check down before we roll on to another guest here in a moment.
The Morning Checkdown, brought to you by Butler Bulldogs Basketball. 2025-26 season tickets are on sale now. Registration for iconic Hinkle Fieldhouse premium seats runs through May 31st. Don't miss Hinkle Magic. Visit butlersports.com/buy tickets.
All right, they're about an hour and a half after the first tee at Masters right now. Zach Johnson, Chris Kirk share the lead at 2 under par. Both played 4 holes. Johnny Vegas is 1 under par along with Danny Willett, Michael Kim. Fred Couples, as you pointed out just a moment ago, is at 1 under par, and Davis Thompson also at 1 under par. Those are the players that have teed off early and have broken par so far.
I must say, from James Boyd and Quentin Buckner yesterday, Eddie White, and I believe President Trump right there, the impressions have been pretty solid here lately. I don't want to act like we're Caliendo.
You heard the Caliendo promo with JMV, right?
I don't want to act like, we're Caliendo from earlier in the week with JMV, but not bad on both of those fronts. So, yes, we are underway at Augusta National.
Pacers do play tonight at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. JB, they will be somewhat undermanned, the Cavs.
Yes, they will certainly be undermanned. Ty Jerome will probably be playing a lot for them. So for the Purdue fans out there, you're like, beat down Ty Jerome for what he did to me years ago and get the win.
Airtime 6:30, and the game starts at 7. Mark Boyle will have the play-by-play. Both the Cubs And Reds lose yesterday in Major League Baseball. The Indians won in Louisville by a score of 7-3. Coming up in just a moment, we'll talk NFL Draft right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Just pointing out, JB, that after I was hammered earlier today, you're getting Harry and Izzy's and free cookies today.
Should I give you credit for this, Jeff?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just pointing it out.
Should I give you credit for this, or was it just a little coincidence?
Jeff over at Harry and Izzy's is who you give credit to.
Fair enough.
All right, and Eddie White brought in the cookies.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just pointing out that you got a lot of free food today. That's all I'm saying.
And he wants credit for it.
No. Kevin Bowen, I know it's that time of year for you, the Masters, but we got the draft coming up pretty soon as well. Do we have David on the line right now? David Behrman from Pro Football Network joining us on the Payless Liquors hotline. Good morning, David. I understand you may be interested in what's happening down in Georgia today as well, correct?
Oh, is that why? That's what I thought we were going to talk about.
You and Kevin can go for days on that.
David, I'll give you my number offline, and we can just chat about it all day.
I'm 20 minutes into starring the guys on the Masters app that I either have in a pool or have money in. I think I'm up to like 47 guys. So,
David, I don't know you, but we're already best friends. The starred names in the leaderboard are everywhere. Who should the Colts be starring at 14? I guess my lazy transition will lead us there, David, as we are 2 weeks away from the draft. And I don't know. Let me throw one at you. Let's act like 14 for the Colts has both Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland available in the first hypothetical. Given that, what would you do at 14?
At 14, and I was going to start by saying it's going to sound like a cop-out, but I wrote this the other day in one of our columns that the Colts are honestly, to me, of the 32 teams, the easiest one to handicap because I think we all agree, the fans agree, the prognosticators agree that tight end is where they go. So starting with that, if those two are still on the board, I lean, and listen, this is splitting hairs here. It's 50-50. I'm going with Tyler Warren. I can make the argument on both sides. I just like the fact that what I saw during the college football playoff and before that, you can line them up anywhere. And I'm a big strategy guy. I'm a big fan of not letting the defense have any idea what the heck you're trying to do, pre-snap movement, putting guys in different positions, not allowing them to have any idea. Like, listen, I coach tackle football and flag football, so I like to mix things up. Tyler Warren is the guy you can line up anywhere. You literally can line him up a wide receiver, line him up a tight end, line him up in the backfield. It keeps the defense guessing, and he's as good as it gets when it comes to catching the ball, running the routes, getting open downfield. I love him, and I think there's other teams that might take a stab at him. He's that good, and in today's NFL, I don't see there being a lot of difference between wide receiver and the pass-catching tight ends out there. And I think Tyler Warren is right there and can be one of the best. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. Colston Loveland is an awesome player. I watched him at Michigan for years. He's great. I give Warren the slight edge. Just I think you can do more with him than you can with any other tight end on the board.
Okay, let's play this out then with Warren gone. I think Vegas says the over-under like 9.5 for Tyler Warren drafted. Let's say Tyler Warren is gone, and I don't know, maybe to play it out a step further, let's say Colston Loveland is gone for some reason. Basically non-tight end at 14 for the Colts.
I think at that point you got to go offensive line. It's obviously no secret that you guys lost Ryan Kelly and Will Fries, in the offseason, and you have some gaps on that offensive line. And the thing is, you're not the only team around there that needs offensive line. The Miami Dolphins picked right before you, and they're in the offensive line department. The Houston Texans obviously gave up their entire offensive line in the offseason for some reasons that we don't know, and they picked behind you. There are other teams that are going to want one. So if I'm not taking a tight end, and I think the Colts do take one, but I think Loveland will be there. If they don't, I think you got to see who the Dolphins don't take, and maybe it's a Kelvin Banks, maybe it's a Josh Simmons. The offensive line is sneakily one of the better positions in this draft. You go up and down and break down every single position, and obviously the edge position is kind of most prominent in the first round. But I really, really like offensive line. I think Tyler Booker's the guy that you could be looking at, Kelvin Banks, etc. I think those are the two needs. And if you come out of day one with one of those two positions and you start day two at pick 45 with whatever you don't take in day one, I think as a Colts fan, you would be happy if you came away with tight end and offensive lineman in the first 2 days.
So David, correct me if I'm wrong. One, I want to say thank you for the stat packs after the games. Those are always helpful. He sends out these things and their staff, and I love this because we get spammed with so many stupid emails during the season, and I'm like, this is all garbage. I read his, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Like, I sound so much smarter after these games, and so I definitely want to tip my cap to you all on that one. I live on your site this time of year, along with many others. And the other thing I want to throw out there on a tangent is, are you a Gator by chance?
I absolutely am. I graduated from the University of Florida. I'm a huge Gator fan. If we were on video right now, you would see an entire wall of Gator paraphernalia behind me, and much more on the way. It's been a great week. Monday night was fantastic, and now the Masters is on, so it's one of my favorite weeks of the year to begin with, and the Florida title just put it on another stratosphere.
It's like, man, this dude is living right now.
He's peacock strutting.
I'm like, what the heck? This is like a perfect life right here. Getting back to the football, I know you mentioned offensive line. You also mentioned tight end, and I know this isn't a draft-related question, but I guess what's your interest level in just what the Colts do at quarterback when it comes to Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson? Because no matter who you draft, they're going to be answering to this guy leading the team.
I absolutely think you need to take a quarterback somewhere in the draft. I'm not a fan of any of the quarterbacks at the top of the draft. I haven't made a secret of that. I still think, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are going to go. Jackson Dart's probably going to go late first round, early second round. I wouldn't lose sleep over not getting those guys, but I do think that the Colts need to come out with a quarterback some point in day 2 or 3. Listen, I've made no secret of the fact that I was against anybody trading up or using a high draft pick on Anthony Richardson. I love the kid. I'm proud that he went to the same school as me, but I also have the advantage of watching every single snap he took at the University of Florida. And as someone who was studying the draft over the last couple of years, I did not understand all of the scouting love for taking him early. Taking him late first, maybe early second, I got it. The guy's raw talent is unbelievable. I've seen it. I've seen him in practice. The guy has the tools. He just has not shown limited play in college, limited play in high school, injuries galore. There just hasn't shown the ability prior to being drafted as high as he was by the Colts. And he hasn't done anything to prove me wrong. Yes, he's had his spots. He's shown his ability. He's also missed a lot of time. He's also struggled. Colts benched him, put him back in. Now they're getting Daniel Jones. The warning signs are there. And listen, Daniel Jones isn't the answer either, unless you think he's the next Baker Mayfield, the next Sam Darnold. Maybe you strike hot. I do think you've got to look at the back half of the draft and find a quarterback that you can say, listen, this guy's not playing day one. We took him in the 4th round. We took him in the 5th round. He's not somebody that we need to force ourselves to play like they did with Anthony Richardson, and you go get a different quarterback there that you can say, hey, let's take the time. Let Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones have it, and maybe you get a Quinn Ewers in day 3. Maybe you get a Riley Leonard or Kyle McCord, guys who play big D1 football, Dylan Gabriel, that maybe you throw that lottery ticket and get a future Tom Brady. I know that's a stretch, but I don't think the Colts are going anywhere with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones.
David, one last question for me. I'm curious. There's obvious need for the Colts at the linebacker spot, especially with Lou Anarumo coming in. Where in the draft would you target somebody like that? Who makes sense and where?
If you look at Pro Football Network's mock draft simulator and the data that we pull that we send you guys a couple of times a week, they actually have, and this is based on user data who goes into the mock draft simulator and drafts for the Colts. Outside of Warren and Loveland, the next 2 guys that are the most popular taken are Jihad Campbell out of Alabama and Jalen Walker out of Georgia. So there are people thinking linebacker may be the play. I don't think they go linebacker in the 1st round. And if they don't go linebacker in the 1st round, I think it's something that you look at in round 2, or maybe you wait until round 3 and look at the Oklahoma linebacker, Danny Schutzman, or maybe Notre Dame linebacker, Jack Kaiser. But I would not be surprised if the Colts say, you know what, we didn't get Warren, maybe we go Campbell or Walker. But I think you wait until 2nd round or day 2 or day 3 for that.
David Behrman, Pro Football Network, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate your insight.
Go Masters.
Absolutely. Go Masters. Colin Morikawa is going to win, or Rory McIlroy is going to win. That's what I'm getting. And sleeper, I'll give you good old Bobby McIntyre.
There we go.
Well, Scottish lefty
First
right
time
there
that came
from
up
David
today.
Bierman. Gosh, part of me wants to just Zoom David Bierman all weekend, and we can just talk about the Masters.
Well, then there's a possibility on day 3 of Kaiser coming to the Colts, he said, too. How about that?
Do you think Maddie would be all about that? Yeah, I can't play with the kids today. I've got my friend David that I met over the phone that him and I are just going to Zoom and watch the Masters. Jack Kaiser from Notre Dame to the Colts? Sure, why not? Yeah, the Colts need some linebacker snaps, right, James? The Colts need some special team snaps, probably.
That too, and he can play. He's a player.
Yeah, he's a player and obviously checks everything off the field that the Colts would want. So, leadership personified at Notre Dame there. So, I'll be interested when they do the linebacker thing. Obviously, Chris Ballard is drafted historically well at linebacker.
Yes.
All parts of the draft. Rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. Franklin was the 7th round pick. So it needs attention. I'll be curious when it happens, though.
All right, we've been talking wagers, food, golf, basketball, draft. We'll wrap it all up next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Fully underway at Augusta. Augusta National hosting the Masters again. You don't call it the country club. You don't call it the golf course. It's just Augusta National if you're a broadcaster, Kevin. There's certain things you can and cannot say this week if you're a golf broadcaster.
Early flavor of the leaderboard, a little bit of everything. We have a guy that's about to turn 50 this year in Zach Johnson.
Is he really that old now?
Yes. We have an amateur who played at Iowa. I believe he transferred to Florida. Transfer portal happening in college golf as well. Noah Kent is at 2 under. We have a man that wears 2 gloves named Aaron Rye, and I believe the Chris Kirk story includes a recovering alcoholic. So you want to talk about a little bit of everything?
Now you got Bernard Longer right
4
behind them
guys
at 1 under, too.
At 2 under. Longer and Couples, among others, at 1 under. A lot of guys under par here early. Second and third hole at Augusta. Typically some birdie holes in there, and we are about to get into a few more notables. Teeing off Colin Morikawa, who our last guest, David Bierman, has as the pick. Scotty Scheffler, a little less than a half hour away. Phil Mickelson about to head to the first tee. So start to get into a little bit more of a name recognition group.
My guy Jason Day going to play with Phil Mickelson today, I think. And Keegan Bradley, I think that's the trio there.
That's a nice pairing.
Jason Day usually with some extreme outfits. You see Keegan Bradley's hole-in-one yesterday in the par 3 competition?
Saw a highlight of it.
Yeah, it was quite the scene yesterday. Brooks Koepka, a hole-in-one as well.
Is the most famous hole-in-one from that tournament Tony Finau dislocating his ankle running down to the hole?
That was horrifying. I felt awful for him.
Jeez.
I was worried when Keegan Bradley lifted his young boy up. I'm like, dude, worry about your back for tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
But a hole-in-one's a hole-in-one, right? So you got to celebrate it.
That has to be – I haven't thought about it in that manner, KB. Like, when you're an athlete, you have to think about every
I literally –
thing.
I pick up my children and think – I think I've told this before. TJ McConnell's kid and my kid are in the same swim class. I'm, watching McConnell, pick up the kid. I'm there's times I pick up my kid and I'm, tweaking my back. And now it's probably more of a reflection of my physique and athleticism and lack thereof versus TJ McConnell. But, yeah, I would think about some of that stuff. And you do hear the random freak home injuries, right?
Yeah. No, I remember at the end of the season, Julian Blackman, who's still a free agent, but obviously played for the Colts last few seasons, he told us he had the torn labrum. And he's like, yeah, my daughter wants me to pick her up. And so I would do it. And I'm like, man, he's like, yeah, I couldn't get any worse. I needed surgery. But I'm like, still, I'd be like, hey, baby, your daddy's shoulder isn't working right, right now. So there's some give and take there for sure.
Baseball has the weirdest injuries. Where it's like what Freddie Freeman just had when he slipped in the shower and hurt his ankle. So now he's on the injured list. It's I think it was somebody burned themselves because they're ironing a shirt that they were wearing one time. It's like, what the hell are we doing?
Then a few years ago at Augusta.
Wait, hold on. Back up. They ironed the shirt where it was on their body?
Yeah, I'm looking this up before we get off the air.
That's just dumb. I mean, there are certain things.
You get what's coming to you for that,
right? I empathize with slipping in the shower. Everyone's kind of done that before, but you iron a shirt.
John Smoltz, so not an idiot, but apparently this the legend realized his shirt had a wrinkle on it and decided to iron it while he was wearing it. And burned his chest.
Yeah, that's just idiotic.
John Smoltz, what are you doing?
And I think he's one of the best analysts in all sports.
He's clearly a smart guy, and he's cerebral on the mound, too.
Sammy Sosa threw his back out from a sneeze one time. I mean, their baseball injuries are bizarre.
I'm not believing that one.
You guys recall a few years ago at the Masters, and boy, this sounds like James Boyd skipping basketball a little bit here.
I'll say I wasn't ironing a shirt, that I was wearing.
You had a Dustin Johnson fell down the steps.
That was
you know what? Why am I in this? Don't make me put these headphones down, KB, and come over there. Hold me back, Jeff.
A little rumor or two about what maybe Dustin Johnson was doing that led
maybe he's
to
on the steps and he fell off.
Potentially being pushed down the steps by someone else. Was he possibly behind a closed door with someone he shouldn't have been? So, who says golf isn't entertaining?
This is true.
Aren't there still rumors that there was a golf club taken to the back window of Tiger's car on that fateful night?
I don't think those are rumors.
You got some pretty good photo evidence.
I think those are very, very much true here. Yes, Brian, you and I both, we need this win tonight for the Pacers to get to 50. The Cavs not playing anybody of note in terms of Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Max Strus. TNT tonight. I don't know. I don't really know how much you can even learn about these Pacers in the final 3 games. I just think competition matters, and they won't face a whole lot of it. I thought Siakam coming back the other night and playing well after he missed his first game due to injury all season. I thought that was important. Mathurin has looked like his normal self since returning from injury. So obviously you still are playing for something, just to clinch home court. That magic number's 1, but I don't think there'll be grand takeaways here. Unlike last year. Last year it came down to game 82. Remember that? Yeah. They had to beat the Hawks to get out of the play-in.
Get out healthy. That's all you need these final 3.
Exactly.
Get healthy.
That's true.
By the way, Scotty has just said it wasn't Smoltz, it was Denny Nagel.
Okay.
Well, then he says it was.
Google AI is wrong.
Oh!
So take that technology.
Speaking of Scotty, here is your Jiffy Lube super stat of the day, Mark Dykton.
I'll get it. Hold on.
You ready to go? He's looking up AI right now.
I was looking up AI.
He's
or
taking
A1
it
as it's
personally.
called sometimes.
He's taking it personally now. The 1905 World Series, which you were talking about this morning, weren't you?
Yeah,
Vince?
I was alive for it.
Won by the New York Giants, 4-1 over the Philadelphia Athletics. All 5 games, complete game shutouts, with Giants Hall of Famer Christy Mathewson throwing 3 complete game shutouts. New York's Joe McGinty and the A's Chief Bender and the other shutouts. The Giants did not allow an earned run over the 5 games, and only 1 relief pitcher between the 2 teams was used in the series. Probably we'll never see that again, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, it's a reason why this happened way, way, way back when, but credit where credit is due.
I've got a stat for you guys. Can you name, there's 3 players that have crossed the 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, and 500 assists in the NBA this year.
I saw this.
Say this again.
I know this, but I won't answer because
There's 3 players that have scored 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, and 500 assists this season. One is LeBron James. The other is Nikola Jokic. Who's the third? And I get back and give you 100 guesses, and you wouldn't get it.
I saw this already, so I'll set this out because it blew my mind when I saw it.
Somebody's been ultra consistent.
That was kind of like the Braden Smith stat. Like those numbers were like what Braden Smith achieved. So
Yeah.
I'm going all the way down to like a point guard level list.
Right position.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any idea.
I mean, Halliburton doesn't have enough rebounds, right?
No. Josh Giddey of the Chicago Bulls.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I was shocked when I saw that mark.
I
was
mean,
like,
that
wow.
does make some sense just in the sense of like he's a taller point guardish, type of player there because you got to check all those boxes. Wow. Yeah, you want to talk about a water cooler that would have them guessing for years?
I saw that and I thought I was like, am I seeing this correct? Is this
Now,
a
are you
real
sure?
stat?
Is this the John Smoltz thing? Is this
This is
100
Google
different
AI
things
playing
back
it
for
for
7th
2
year?
for 2. No, the Bulls actually tweeted that out yesterday. I saw that. I was like, what?
It's like somebody
can
text
that be?
Scotty right now to make sure we're correct on these things.
Take this all with a grain of salt.
Scotty, I apologize, and you probably know why. But anyway, fun show today. Masters is underway. We'll be watching that all day long. We'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. Pacers come your way a little bit later on tonight as they start at 7 o'clock over at the Fieldhouse. They'll be taking on the undermanned Cleveland Cavaliers. Airtime 6:30 here on The Fan. You can hear it with Mark Boyle beginning just after 7. Coming our way at noon today, it'll be Jay Query. JMV delights you, I'm sure, from 3 to 6 all day after. That's what he does. He delights
JMV,
you, right?
we got beef, brother.
Oh,
Don't hide.
You
don't
should
run.
go on the show and talk to him about it. Have a great